Hello guys, welcome to Scion What If. So in this video, we will see what if Goku had Jiren's power from birth. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1, The Child of Stars planet Vegeta shuddered under the weight of another birth in the Scion Medical Center. But this wasn't just any birth. The doctors stepped back, their scouters beeping wildly, numbers climbing before exploding right off their faces. What in the name of the gods is happening? The lead physician backed away from the infant, who lay quietly in his birthing pod, eyes closed but power radiating off him in waves that warped the very air. Get Bardock in here. Now. Bardock pushed through the doors moments later, still bloodied from his latest conquest. What's so important you pulled me from? His words died as he sensed it. The power. Coming from his son. This can't be right. Bardock grabbed a new scouter from a trembling assistant. The moment he placed it on his ear and activated it, the device shrieked and shattered. Impossible. Sir, we don't understand it either. His power level, it's beyond anything our technology can measure. The doctor's voice quavered. A low-class infant shouldn't, he's my son. Bardock cut him off, approaching the pod where baby Kakarot lay peacefully. My blood. Placing a hand on the glass, Bardock felt the energy pulsing beneath his palm. Unlike the typical Scion child, Kakarot wasn't crying or thrashing. He slept with an eerie stillness, as if conserving energy that could demolish planets. Does King Vegeta know? Not yet, sir. Bardock's jaw tightened. Good. Keep it that way. His mind raced. A child born with this kind of power would be seen as either an asset or a threat. And in Scion politics, threats didn't live long. Sir, protocols dictate, I know the damn protocols. Bardock glared at the doctor. But this is my son. The words hung heavy in the air. Bardock had never been sentimental about his children before. Raditz had been sent off to conquer without a second thought. But something was different now. Something beyond the unfathomable power readings. Prepare an attack pod, Bardock ordered. Tell no one. But sir, that's an order. Bardock's tone left no room for argument. 3 hours later, under the cover of night, Bardock stood before a small attack pod. Inside, baby Kakarot slept peacefully, unaware of the decision that would alter the course of his life, and the universe itself. You'll be safe there, Bardock whispered, programming the coordinates for Earth, a distant, backwater planet. Far from Frisia, far from King Vegeta. Far from anyone who would fear what you might become. As he closed the pod, Bardock felt something he'd never experienced before, worry for his child's future. Not because Kakarot might fail, but because he might succeed too well. The universe isn't ready for you, son. The pod sealed with a hiss. I'm not sure it ever will be. With a final command, the pod launched into the star-filled sky, carrying with it power that would one day shake the foundations of reality itself. The spacecraft crashed into the mountains with force enough to level a forest. Trees snapped like twigs, Earth erupted in a massive crater, and wildlife scattered in terror. But inside the pod, the Scion infant remained unharmed, protected by technology designed to preserve planet-conquering warriors. Gohan, an elderly martial artist who had long ago retreated to these mountains for solitude and training, felt the impact from miles away. The ground beneath his feet trembled. The air pressure shifted. Something fundamental had changed in his peaceful corner of the world. What in the world? He secured his walking stick and headed toward the disturbance, curiosity overriding caution. The crater stretched nearly 100 feet wide, smoking and crackling with residual energy. At its center sat a spherical pod, its door already open. Gohan approached cautiously, peering inside. A baby. Just a baby with wild, spiky hair. Sitting among the twisted metal, looking up at the Earth sky with curious eyes. Well, hello there, little fellow. Gohan reached for the child, only to recoil as a pulse of energy shot from the infant, shattering a nearby boulder. My goodness! The baby giggled, clearly pleased with the destruction. You're a special one, aren't you? Gohan tried again, more cautiously this time. The child allowed himself to be lifted, his tail wrapping instinctively around Gohan's wrist. A tail? Curiouser and curiouser. Carrying the child back to his small mountain home, Gohan couldn't shake the feeling that the stars themselves had delivered this infant to him for a purpose. I'll call you Goku, he decided, the name coming to him suddenly, as if whispered by the universe itself. Son Goku. That night, as baby Goku slept, Gohan watched in awe as the child's dreams caused the house to vibrate, cups to shatter, and lights to flicker. Power radiated from him in waves, uncontrolled and untamed. What am I going to do with you? Gohan whispered, worried but not afraid. How does one raise a child who could tear mountains apart with a tantrum? The answer came slowly, over painful months of trial and error. Traditional discipline proved not just ineffective but dangerous. After Goku's first real crying fit collapsed half the mountainside, Gohan realized he needed a different approach. Peace became the priority. Calm. Control. Not the typical values emphasized in raising a child, but Goku was no typical child. Breathe with me, Goku, Gohan would say each morning, sitting cross-legged with the toddler mimicking his posture. Feel the energy flowing through you. It's not separate from you. It is you. By age 3, Goku had learned to suppress his power enough to function without destroying everything around him. But his strength remained extraordinary. Gohan watched him lift boulders to catch lizards hiding underneath. Saw him jump across ravines in a single bound. Witnessed him punch through trees when excited. Grandpa, look! Goku called one day, holding up a massive fish that would have taken 10 grown men to haul from the river. Water streamed from his spiky hair, his small frame carrying the enormous catch without strain. Dinner. That's wonderful, Goku, Gohan replied, marveling not for the first time at the contradiction that was his adopted grandson. A boy with the power to devastate continents, excited about catching fish and counting clouds. Teaching Goku martial arts proved challenging in unexpected ways. The problem wasn't getting him to learn, it was getting him to understand the concept of restraint. No, Goku, like this. Gohan demonstrated a basic punch for the 5th time. You don't need to put all your power into every strike. But why not? Goku asked, genuinely confused. The last time he'd punched as instructed, his fist had created a shock wave that toppled distant trees. Because strength without control is just destruction, Gohan explained patiently. True martial arts is about efficiency, not force. Goku frowned, concentrating so hard his tongue poked from the corner of his mouth. He threw another punch, trying to hold back. The air still rippled around his small fist, but the trees remained standing. Better. Gohan smiled. Much better. As years passed, Goku grew stronger, but more importantly, he grew more controlled. He learned to match his strength to the task at hand, whether sparring with Gohan, who insisted on the gentlest of contact, hunting for dinner, or simply picking flowers without uprooting the entire field. But despite Gohan's best efforts, accidents happened. The worst came when Goku was 7. They'd been training near their home, practicing a new kata. Goku moved fluidly through the positions, his growing body already showing the defined muscles of a warrior. Excellent, Goku. Now remember what we discussed about channeling your energy, like this? Goku thrust his palm forward, intending a gentle energy push. What erupted instead was a beam of pure power that sliced through the forest, leaving a smoking trail of destruction half a mile long. Oops. Goku's eyes widened. Sorry, Grandpa. I didn't mean to, it's alright, Gohan assured him, though his heart raced at the casual display of planet-shattering power. It was an accident. That night, Gohan made a decision that would shape Goku's future. "Goku," he said as they ate dinner, the boy devouring enough food for 20 men. "I think it's time I taught you about the Dragon Balls." Goku looked up, rice sticking to his cheeks. "Dragons what?" "Dragon Balls. 7 magical orbs that, when gathered together, can grant almost any wish." Gohan reached into his pocket and withdrew an orange sphere with 4 stars embedded inside. "This is one of them. The 4-star ball." Goku's eyes widened with childlike wonder. "Wow! Can I touch it?" "Of course. It will be yours someday." As Goku cradled the ball, Gohan continued, "Finding these balls requires adventure, Goku. Travel. Meeting people. Learning about the world beyond our mountain." "But you said it's dangerous for me to be around people," Goku reminded him. "Because of my power." "Yes, but you've learned so much control. And you need more than just me to teach you." Gohan sighed, watching this extraordinary child who held power enough to reshape worlds. "You need to find your place in this world, Goku. And I believe the Dragon Balls will help guide your path." Goku nodded solemnly, still entranced by the glowing orb. "I'll be careful, Grandpa. I promise." What neither of them knew was how soon that journey would begin, or how it would change not just Goku's life, but the fate of the entire universe. Tragedy struck under the light of a full moon. Gohan had warned Goku never to look at the full moon, a rule the boy had faithfully followed without understanding why. But one night, curiosity overcame caution. Goku stepped outside to use the bathroom, glancing upward by reflex. The moon hung fat and bright overhead. Its light triggered something primal in his Saiyan DNA. The transformation was instant and devastating. Bones cracked and elongated. Fur sprouted across his body. His consciousness receded as the great ape took control, roaring with mindless rage at the night sky. Gohan woke to the sound of destruction. He rushed outside to find a giant ape where his grandson had been, demolishing everything in sight. "Goku! Goku, it's me!" Gohan called desperately. "You must control yourself." The ape turned, red eyes focusing on the tiny figure below. For a moment, something flickered in those eyes, recognition, perhaps. But it wasn't enough. With a single swipe of its massive hand, the creature that had been Goku struck Gohan, sending him crashing through trees and stone. Morning came. The ape was gone. Goku awoke naked and confused in a landscape of devastation. "Grandpa," he called, wandering through the wreckage of their home. "Grandpa, where are you?" He found Gohan's broken body half buried under rubble. Something inside Goku shattered at the sight. "Grandpa." Tears streamed down his face as he gently lifted the old man. "Grandpa, wake up." But Gohan didn't wake. And as Goku cradled the body of the only person he'd ever known, his grief manifested physically. The ground beneath him cracked. The air superheated. Mountains in the distance trembled. "No, no, no." Goku sobbed, unaware of the destruction spreading outward from his position like ripples in a pond. Trees uprooted. Animals fled in panic. The very sky darkened with his anguish. It took 3 days for the earthquakes to stop. 3 days of Goku's unprocessed grief shaking the foundations of the continent. When it finally subsided, he buried his grandfather near their home, placing the 4-star Dragon Ball on the grave. "I'll find the other balls, Grandpa," he promised, his young voice hollow with loss. "I'll wish you back." With that decision, son Goku stepped into the wider world, a child with the power of a god and the heart of a boy who had just lost everything. Bulma's dragon radar beeped insistently as she navigated her motorcycle up the winding mountain path. 2 Dragon Balls already secured in her backpack, she felt a thrill of excitement at how quickly this was going. "Just 5 more to go," she exclaimed, pushing her blue hair from her eyes. And then one perfect wish for the perfect boyfriend. The radar indicated the ball was just ahead. Rounding a bend, she spotted a small house partially collapsed among the trees. Something had clearly happened here. The surrounding area looked like a bomb had gone off, with trees snapped and ground torn up. "Hello?" she called cautiously. "Anyone home?" A rustling sound came from behind her. Bulma spun around to find herself staring at a boy, wild-haired, muscular beyond his apparent years, dressed in a tattered gi. What caught her attention most was the suspicious glare in his eyes and the fighting stance he immediately adopted. "Who are you?" the boy demanded. "What do you want?" "Whoa, easy there, kid." Bulma raised her hands. "I'm just looking for something. I'm not here to cause trouble." The boy didn't relax. "Looking for what?" "It's called a Dragon Ball. Orange, about this big, with stars inside." Bulma formed a circle with her hands. "My radar says there's one around here." At the mention of Dragon Balls, the boy's expression shifted from suspicion to intense interest. "You know about the Dragon Balls?" "Yep. I've already got 2 of them." Bulma patted her backpack proudly. The boy approached, moving with unnerving speed. Suddenly he was right in front of her, though she hadn't seen him cross the distance. "My grandpa gave me a Dragon Ball before he died," he said. "It has 4 stars. That's one of them." Bulma clapped her hands excitedly. "Can I see it?" "Pretty please." The boy studied her face, seeming to make a decision. "My name's Goku. Son Goku. I'm Bulma." Bulma briefs. "If you know about Dragon Balls, then you know what happens when you collect all 7, right?" Goku asked. "Of course. You get to make any wish you want." Bulma grinned. Goku nodded solemnly. "I need to find them all. I'm going to wish my grandpa back to life." The simple declaration, delivered with absolute certainty, took Bulma aback. This wasn't a kid playing a game or dreaming of riches. There was something in his eyes, something old and determined that didn't match his young face. That's a nice wish," she managed. "Maybe we could look together. I mean, I have this radar that can track them down." Goku's eyes lit up. "Really? You'd help me?" "Sure. We'll be Dragon Ball hunting buddies." Bulma extended her hand, then gasped as Goku took it, his grip gentle but containing unmistakable strength. "Wow, you're strong." Goku shrugged. "Grandpa always said I needed to be careful around normal people." "Normal people?" Bulma raised an eyebrow. "As opposed to what?" Instead of answering, Goku walked to a nearby boulder nearly twice his size. He placed one hand against it and pushed. The massive rock slid backward, carving a trench in the earth, before Goku casually lifted it overhead with one hand. Bulma's jaw dropped. "What the, how are you doing that?" Goku set the boulder down with surprising gentleness. "I've always been strong. Grandpa said I was special." His expression darkened. "But being special didn't help him when he needed me." Something in his tone made Bulma decide not to press further. "Well, your strength will definitely come in handy on our journey. The Dragon Balls are scattered all over the world." Goku nodded, disappearing into what remained of the house. He returned moments later with a small pack and a staff, the 4-star Dragon Ball clutched in his hand. "I'm ready," he announced. And just like that, their adventure began, a brilliant teenage girl and a boy with power beyond comprehension, united by 7 magical orbs and the wishes they might grant. Neither of them could have predicted how their meeting would reshape the world. Their journey began smoothly enough. Bulma was surprised to discover Goku had never seen a car before, never used technology, never even met another person besides his grandfather. "You've lived your whole life on that mountain?" she asked as they sped along in her capsule car, Goku hanging his head out the window like an excited puppy. "Yep. Grandpa said it was safer that way." He turned to her, wind whipping his already wild hair. "I broke things a lot when I was little. Sometimes I still do when I'm not paying attention. As if to demonstrate, Goku gripped the door handle too tightly, the metal crumpling like paper in his hand. Oops. Sorry. Bulma stared. Just how strong are you, exactly? Goku shrugged. I dunno. Grandpa stopped measuring after I broke all his equipment. The nonchalance with which he delivered this information was almost as unsettling as the information itself. Bulma made a mental note to call her father later. As the head of Capsule Corporation, Dr. Briefs might have technology that could actually measure Goku's strength. Their first real challenge came at a village terrorized by a shape-shifting creature named Oolong. The pig-like being had been kidnapping young women from the village, using his transformation abilities to appear as different monsters. When they arrived, villagers immediately surrounded them, desperate faces pleading for help. You must save us from Oolong, the village elder begged. He's taken my daughter and 5 other girls. Don't worry, Bulma assured them. My friend here is incredibly strong. He'll defeat Oolong and save the girls. Goku stepped forward, staff ready. Where is he? I'll fight him. The villagers explained that Oolong appeared each day at noon, transforming into a terrible demon to terrorize them. As the hour approached, a massive shadow fell over the village. A creature 30 feet tall with horns and razor teeth stomped toward them, its footsteps shaking the ground. That's Oolong, the villagers cried, fleeing in terror. Bulma backed away. Goku, be careful. He's huge. But Goku stood his ground, looking more curious than frightened. He doesn't feel very strong, he observed quietly. Bring me another girl. Oolong bellowed, his voice deep and menacing. Or I'll destroy this entire village. No, Goku replied simply, walking forward. You should give back the ones you took. Oolong laughed, the sound booming across the village square. And who's going to make me, little boy? You. Yep. Goku nodded. Give them back now, please. The transformation monster roared, swinging a massive fist down at Goku. The villagers screamed. Bulma covered her eyes. The expected impact never came. When Bulma dared to look, Goku stood holding Oolong's giant finger, stopping the entire fist effortlessly with one hand. That wasn't very nice, Goku said, his voice still calm. I asked politely. With a flick of his wrist, Goku sent Oolong tumbling backward, crashing through an empty barn. The monster struggled to rise, fear replacing rage in its eyes. What are you? Oolong stammered. Goku approached, walking unhurriedly. I'm Son Goku. And I'd really like you to give those girls back. Suddenly, in a puff of smoke, Oolong's true form was revealed, a small pig-like creature trembling with fear. I give up. I give up, he squealed. The girls are fine. They're at my mansion. I just wanted some company. The truth came out quickly after that. Oolong had indeed kidnapped the girls, but only to cook and clean for him. They were all unharmed, if annoyed, at being forced to serve the lazy shapeshifter. You could have just asked for help, Goku told Oolong as they returned the girls to their families. Instead of scaring everyone. Oolong snorted. Yeah, right. Who helps someone who looks like me? Goku tilted his head. I would. Grandpa always said you should judge people by what they do, not what they look like. Your grandpa sounds like a wise man, Oolong muttered. He was, Goku replied quietly. That's why I need to bring him back. Later, as they prepared to continue their journey, Oolong approached them sheepishly. Hey, mind if I tag along? The village doesn't exactly want me around anymore, and you two seem like you're headed somewhere interesting. Bulma looked skeptical. Why should we trust you? Because I'm a great shapeshifter. That's gotta be useful, right? Oolong demonstrated by transforming into a handsome young man, then back to his pig form. Plus, I know the area better than you do. Goku shrugged. Sure, you can come. Goku. Bulma protested. We can't just, everyone deserves a second chance, Goku said firmly. Grandpa gave me lots of chances when I kept breaking things and hurting him by accident. Oolong didn't really hurt anyone, he was just lonely. The simple wisdom silenced Bulma's objections. And so their duo became a trio, continuing the search for Dragon Balls with a shape-shifting pig added to their unusual company. What they didn't know was that they weren't the only ones seeking the Dragon Balls. In a castle far to the west, a blue-skinned woman with fiery hair pored over ancient maps, her soldiers standing nervously at attention. Find them, Emperor Pilaf commanded, her voice soft but dangerous. Find the Dragon Balls before anyone else does. My wish cannot wait. The desert stretched endlessly before them, heat rippling off the sand in waves. Bulma wilted in the passenger seat of their hover car, repeatedly checking the dragon radar. 2 more miles north, she directed, wiping sweat from her brow. There should be a Dragon Ball there. Oolong, transformed into a parasol to provide shade, grumbled, couldn't it have been hidden somewhere nice? Like a beach? Or an air-conditioned mall? Goku seemed unbothered by the heat, perched on the roof of the vehicle and scanning the horizon. I see something up ahead. Looks like a big rock. As they drew closer, the rock revealed itself to be a small castle standing alone in the wasteland, its walls weathered but intact. Who builds a castle in the middle of nowhere? Bulma wondered aloud as they parked outside the imposing structure. Someone who doesn't want visitors, Oolong suggested, returning to his pig form and eyeing the castle nervously. Maybe we should try another Dragon Ball first. Goku was already marching toward the entrance. The ball's in there. I can feel it. Bulma and Oolong exchanged looks before hurrying after him. The massive doors stood closed, no handles visible on their ancient surface. Great, Bulma sighed. Now what? Goku studied the doors for a moment, then placed his palms against them. With a gentle push that belied the strength behind it, the massive doors groaned open, dust and sand cascading from their edges. That works, Oolong muttered, clearly unnerved by the casual display of power. Inside, the castle was eerily silent. Corridors stretched in multiple directions, lit by torches that seemed to ignite on their own as they approached. Okay, that's not creepy at all, Bulma whispered, staying close to Goku. The dragon radar led them deeper into the structure, down winding staircases and through grand halls filled with ancient armor and weapons. Finally, they reached a circular chamber with a pedestal at its center. Atop the pedestal sat their prize, the 6-star Dragon Ball. There it is! Bulma exclaimed, rushing forward. Wait! Goku called out, but too late. The moment Bulma lifted the ball from its resting place, the floor around the pedestal slid away, revealing a dark pit. Bulma shrieked as she began to fall. Goku moved faster than either of his companions could track. One moment he was standing at the entrance, the next he was holding Bulma safely, having caught her mid-fall. That was close, he said, setting her down gently. You okay? Bulma nodded, clutching the Dragon Ball to her chest, her heart racing. Thanks, Goku. Their relief was short-lived. The chamber doors slammed shut, and a new voice echoed through the room. Well, well. Visitors. How unfortunate for you. A man stepped from the shadows. Tall and elegantly dressed, with a sword at his hip and a scar across one eye. Behind him stood a dozen armed warriors. I am Yamcha, the desert bandit, the man announced. And you have something that belongs to me. Oolong squeaked in terror. We're dead. We're so dead. Yamcha's eyes fixed on the Dragon Ball in Bulma's hands. I've been searching for that trinket for months. Hand it over, and perhaps I'll let you leave with your lives. Bulma clutched the ball tighter. No way. We need this for our wish. Your wish? Yamcha raised an eyebrow, then laughed. So you know of the Dragon Ball's power. How interesting. His hand moved to his sword hilt. All the more reason I can't let you leave with it. Goku stepped forward, positioning himself between Yamcha and his friends. We're not giving it to you. Yamcha's warriors tensed, weapons raised. Their leader studied Goku with newfound interest. A child challenges the desert bandit. You have courage, boy. Misplaced, but admirable. Yamcha drew his sword in one fluid motion. Let's see if your skills match your bravado. The bandits circled closer. Bulma and Oolong backed against the wall, the pig transforming into a small tank, more for psychological comfort than any practical protection. You don't have to fight us, Goku said calmly. We're just collecting the Dragon Balls to bring my grandpa back. We don't want trouble. Something in Goku's tone gave Yamcha pause. The bandit leader studied the boy more carefully, noticing the unusual confidence, the balanced stance, the complete lack of fear facing odds that should have terrified any child. Admirable sentiment, Yamcha replied, his voice softer. But I have my own wish to make. One I've waited years for. He raised his blade. Take them. The bandits charged. What happened next would change Yamcha's life forever. Goku moved. Not with the clumsy enthusiasm of a child playing at fighting, but with the precision of a master. He flowed between the attackers like water, each movement economical and purposeful. One by one, the bandits found themselves disarmed and grounded, none quite sure how they'd ended up staring at the ceiling. Yamcha stood motionless, sword still raised, watching his entire crew defeated in seconds without Goku landing a single damaging blow. Who trained you, boy? He asked, genuine curiosity replacing his earlier arrogance. My grandpa, Goku answered simply. He taught me control most of all. Control? Yamcha echoed. Goku nodded. So I wouldn't hurt people by accident. The implication hung in the air. Yamcha lowered his sword slowly. I see. He sheathed the blade entirely. Perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot. Bulma emerged from behind the transformed Oolong tank. You think? You just tried to rob us. Yamcha raised his hands in a placating gesture. Professional hazard. Desert bandit and all that. His eyes remained on Goku. But I know when I'm outmatched. And I'm very curious about this wish you're planning. The tension in the room gradually dissipated. Yamcha ordered his men to stand down, invited the travelers to join him for a meal, and listened intently as they explained their quest. So you seek to resurrect your grandfather, he mused, refilling Goku's plate for the 5th time, watching in fascination as the boy consumed enough food for 10 men. A noble goal. What about you? Bulma asked, still suspicious. What's your wish? Yamcha's hand unconsciously touched the scar across his eye. To undo a mistake. To bring back someone I lost through my own arrogance. The parallel to Goku's quest wasn't lost on any of them. By evening's end, they had gained not just another Dragon Ball but a new companion. Yamcha, impressed by Goku's skill and moved by his purpose, offered to join their quest. The desert holds many dangers, he explained. And I know paths that few others remember. Plus, he's kinda cute, Bulma whispered to Oolong, who rolled his eyes. That night, as the others slept, Yamcha sought Goku out on the castle ramparts. The boy sat cross-legged under the stars, eyes closed in meditation. You're no ordinary child, Yamcha said without preamble. Goku opened his eyes. Grandpa said the same thing. What are you, really? Goku looked up at the night sky, careful to avoid the moon. I don't know. I can do things others can't. I try to be careful, but sometimes. He trailed off. Your grandfather. How did he die? Goku's expression darkened. I don't remember exactly. I woke up and everything was destroyed. He was. His small hands clenched. I think I did it. When I saw the full moon. Yamcha's eyes widened. He stopped himself. A what? Nothing, Yamcha said quickly. Just, legends. Old stories. He sat beside the boy, also gazing skyward. Whatever you are, Goku, I believe your heart is good. And that's what matters most. As they continued their journey the next day, now 5 strong with Yamcha and his shape-shifting cat Puar joining them, none of them realized they had attracted the attention of forces far beyond desert bandits. In the shadows, agents of the Red Ribbon Army watched and reported back to their command. The Dragon Balls were on the move, carried by a group led by a child with extraordinary abilities. Commander Red's orders came back swiftly: acquire the Dragon Balls. Eliminate all witnesses. But bring the boy to me, alive. The Red Ribbon Army made their first move 3 days later. Goku and his friends had tracked another Dragon Ball to a small fishing village on the coast. As they approached, Bulma frowned at her radar. That's weird. The signal's moving. Someone else has it, Goku said immediately. His senses, far more acute than any technology, had already detected the unfamiliar energy signatures converging on the village. They crested a hill overlooking the settlement to find it swarming with soldiers. Men in distinctive red-ribboned uniforms were systematically searching houses, their vehicles forming a perimeter around the village. The Red Ribbon Army, Yamcha whispered, pulling them back down behind the hill crest. This is bad. Very bad. Who are they? Goku asked. Only the most powerful military organization in the world, Bulong explained, nervously peeking over the hill. They've got the best weapons, the most soldiers, and they don't care who gets hurt as long as they get what they want. Goku's expression hardened. They're hurting people down there. It wasn't a question. He could sense the fear, hear the distant cries even from this distance. We need a plan, Bulma began. Maybe if we, but Goku was already moving, walking calmly down the hill toward the village. Goku, wait. Yamcha hissed. There are at least 50 soldiers down there. Goku didn't slow down. Stay here. I'll get the Dragon Ball. The confidence in his voice wasn't bravado or childish naivety. It was the simple certainty of someone stating an inevitable fact. The sky is blue. Water is wet. Goku would get the Dragon Ball. We can't let him face them alone, Bulma insisted, starting after him. Yamcha caught her arm. Watch, he said quietly. I want to see what he can really do. The first soldier spotted Goku as he entered the village outskirts. A boy walking alone, seemingly oblivious to the military operation around him. Hey kid. This area's restricted, one called out. Get lost. Goku continued forward, his pace unhurried. You're scaring these people. You should leave. The soldier's confused expression quickly turned to anger. He raised his rifle. Last warning, brat. Turn around now. I can't, Goku replied simply. You have something we need. More soldiers noticed the confrontation, forming a circle around the small, spiky-haired boy who showed no fear at their weapons. Captain, one called into his radio. We've got a situation here. A jeep roared up moments later, a heavy-set man with a captain's insignia stepping out. He surveyed Goku with annoyance. What's this? A local kid playing hero? The captain smirked. Run home to mommy, boy. Before you get hurt. You're the ones who'll get hurt if you don't stop bullying these villagers, Goku replied, his voice still calm but carrying an undercurrent that made several soldiers shift uneasily. The captain's face darkened. Grab him. The commander might want to question the locals anyway. 2 soldiers moved to seize Goku's arms. What happened next happened so quickly that later, when giving their reports, none of the witnesses could agree on exactly what they'd seen. One moment the soldiers were reaching for Goku, the next, they were embedded in the walls of buildings 30 feet away. The boy hadn't appeared to move. The captain staggered back. What the? Goku took a step forward. The earth beneath him cracked slightly. Leave these people alone. And give me the Dragon Ball you found. Open fire, the captain screamed, drawing his own pistol. 50 weapons discharged simultaneously. Bullets streaked toward Goku from all directions. From the hillside, Bulma screamed in horror. The bullets never reached their target. They stopped in mid-air, hanging suspended around Goku like frozen raindrops. He hadn't moved, hadn't raised a hand in defense. The projectiles simply stopped. That's not possible, Yamcha whispered, his face pale. With a small sigh, Goku let the bullets drop harmlessly to the ground. I don't want to fight you, he told the terrified soldiers. But I will if I have to. The captain's radio crackled. Captain Silver, report. What's happening? Silver's hands shook as he raised the device. Sir, we've encountered resistance. A child, but he's not normal. Bring him in, the voice commanded. Commander Red wants any special individuals captured alive. Sir, with all due respect, I don't think we can. A blinding flash interrupted him as Goku, finally losing patience, released a fraction of his power. The shock wave knocked every soldier off their feet, shattered windows throughout the village, and sent vehicles tumbling. When the dust cleared, Goku stood at the center of a small crater, his expression sad rather than triumphant. I just want the Dragon Ball, he repeated. Nobody needs to get hurt. Captain Silver, sprawled against his overturned jeep, fumbled at his belt pouch. With trembling hands, he withdrew an orange sphere, the 3-star Dragon Ball. Take it, he gasped, tossing it toward Goku. Take it and go. Goku caught the ball, nodding in thanks. As he turned to leave, Silver found his courage. This isn't over, kid. The Red Ribbon Army doesn't forget. Commander Red will. Goku looked back over his shoulder, his eyes briefly flashing with power. If your commander comes after us or hurts anyone else, I won't be this nice next time. The simple statement, delivered without heat or malice, chilled Silver more than any threat. As Goku rejoined his friends on the hillside, Bulma threw her arms around him. You idiot! You could have been killed. Goku blinked in confusion. No, I couldn't. The matter-of-fact response left them all speechless. Goku held up the Dragon Ball, smiling. That's 4 now. Just 3 more to go. As they departed, leaving the stunned Red Ribbon soldiers behind, Yamcha fell into step beside Goku. You were holding back, he observed quietly. A lot. Goku nodded. Grandpa always said, just because you can break something doesn't mean you should. How strong are you really? Yamcha asked. Goku considered the question with childlike seriousness. I don't know. I've never really tried my hardest. Grandpa said I might break the world if I did. The casual answer sent a shiver down Yamcha's spine. He was beginning to understand why Gohan had kept this extraordinary child isolated on a mountain. What none of them realized was that word of Goku's abilities was spreading far beyond the Red Ribbon Army. In a dark palace on the other side of the world, an ancient being watched the reports with growing interest. King Piccolo, once sealed away but recently freed, stroked his green chin thoughtfully. A child with the power to challenge gods, he mused. How providential. Perhaps he carries what I seek. The Demon King turned to his offspring, grotesque creatures waiting eagerly for his command. Find this boy. Test his strength. If he is what I suspect, he may be the key to my revival. As Goku and his friends celebrated their growing collection of Dragon Balls, forces beyond their understanding were aligning against them. The true test of Goku's extraordinary power was yet to come. The aftermath of Goku's confrontation with the Red Ribbon Army rippled across the world. In hidden bases and secret bunkers, military leaders reviewed footage captured by reconnaissance drones. They watched in disbelief as a child defeated 50 elite soldiers without landing a single punch. Commander Red slammed his fist on the conference table, his diminutive stature making the gesture almost comical despite his fury. I want everything we have on this boy. Birth records, known associates, possible weaknesses. General Blue, standing at attention nearby, cleared his throat. Sir, preliminary analysis suggests he may not be entirely human. Red's single eye narrowed. Explain. The energy readings we captured are off the charts. Nothing terrestrial matches the pattern. Blue hesitated. There are legends, sir, of beings from beyond the stars with extraordinary abilities. Aliens? Red scoffed. Next you'll tell me magic is real. Sir, we are chasing magical wish-granting orbs, Blue reminded him delicately. Red fell silent, contemplating. What about the weapon development? Dr. Gero reports progress on the energy absorption technology. It might be effective against the boy, but it's untested. A slow smile spread across Red's face. Then let's arrange a test. Meanwhile, Goku and his companions continued their journey, now with 5 Dragon Balls in their possession after finding one unguarded in a mountain cave. Only 2 remained. Their search led them to a massive forest untouched by civilization. Ancient trees towered hundreds of feet high, their canopies blocking out the sun. The dragon radar indicated their prize was somewhere in this primeval wilderness. I don't like this place, Oolong muttered as they made camp for the night. It feels watched. Yamcha nodded in agreement, one hand never far from his sword. The sacred forest. Even bandits avoid this place. They say it's protected by spirits. Bulma rolled her eyes. Please. There's no such thing as spirits. Says the girl hunting magical Dragon Balls, Oolong retorted. Goku sat apart from the others, cross-legged in meditation. Since entering the forest, he'd felt a strange resonance with his own energy, as if the very trees were alive with a power similar to his own. Goku? Bulma called. You okay? Goku opened his eyes. Something's here. Something old. The campfire flickered, casting eerie shadows through the massive trees. Night sounds, insects, distant animal calls, suddenly ceased. The silence was absolute. Nobody move, Yamcha whispered, drawing his sword slowly. From the darkness beyond their camp, eyes appeared, dozens of them, glowing various colors, watching from every direction. We come in peace. Oolong suggested weakly. A figure stepped into the firelight. Humanoid but clearly not human, its skin was green and mottled like bark, its limbs elongated and flexible like branches. Others followed, surrounding the camp entirely. You seek the sacred orb, the leader stated. Not a question. Goku stood, facing the forest being without fear. Yes. We need it to bring my grandpa back. The being tilted its head, studying Goku with ancient eyes. Many seek the orb for selfish desires. Power. Wealth. Dominion. I just want my grandpa back, Goku repeated. I think I hurt him. By accident. Something in the simple admission seemed to reach the forest guardian. It approached Goku, bending to examine him more closely. You carry great power, small one. Power not of this world. Goku nodded. That's what Grandpa said too. The guardian extended a branch-like finger, touching Goku's forehead gently. The contact created a subtle resonance, energy flowing between them. Interesting, the guardian murmured. Your power, it shares kinship with ours. Different source, similar essence. The other forest beings moved closer, their initial hostility fading to curiosity. They communicated in whispers and rustling sounds, like wind through leaves. We will take you to the orb, the leader decided. But first, you must understand what you seek. Before Goku could respond, the guardian's finger pressed more firmly against his forehead. Images flooded Goku's mind, visions of the Dragon Ball's creation, of the eternal dragon Shinran, of wishes granted and the consequences that followed. He saw civilizations rise and fall, all tied to the power of the wish-granting orbs. And behind it all, he glimpsed something else, a presence, ancient and watchful, maintaining balance. When the visions faded, Goku staggered slightly, steadied by Yamcha's hand on his shoulder. "You okay, kid?" the former bandit asked, concerned. Goku nodded slowly, his eyes still wide with wonder. "I saw everything." The forest guardian stepped back. "Now you understand. The orbs are not merely tools for mortal desires. They are connected to the very fabric of creation. But I can still wish my grandpa back, right?" Goku asked, his childlike directness returning. The guardian made a sound like rustling leaves, laughter, perhaps. "Yes, small one. But remember what you have seen. Power comes with responsibility." With that, the forest beings led them deeper into the woods, along paths invisible to human eyes. The trees seemed to part before them, branches bending to allow passage. Eventually, they reached the heart of the forest, an enormous tree, its trunk wider than a house, roots spreading for acres in every direction. At its base was a small shrine, and upon the shrine sat their prize, the 5-star Dragon Ball. "Take it," the guardian said. "But heed this warning, you are not alone in your quest. Dark forces seek both the orbs and you, child of stars." Goku accepted the ball with reverence. "Thank you. I'll be careful." As they prepared to leave, the guardian pulled Goku aside one final time. "The power within you, it is both blessing and curse. Learn to master it fully, or it will master you." "That's what Grandpa always said too," Goku replied with a smile. The guardian nodded solemnly. "Your grandfather was wise. When you restore him, listen well to his teachings." They departed the sacred forest with 6 Dragon Balls in their possession. Only one remained. The final ball, according to the radar, was moving, heading directly toward a fortress marked on Bulma's map as Pilaf's castle. None of them noticed the small mechanical bird following them from the treetops, its camera eyes recording everything and transmitting to not one but 2 interested parties, the Red Ribbon Army, and King Piccolo. The stage was set for a confrontation that would test not only Goku's incredible power but also the wisdom he had gained along his journey. Pilaf's castle loomed against the twilight sky, a sinister silhouette of twisted spires and forbidding walls. Built into the side of a mountain, it combined ancient architecture with modern security systems, laser grids, automated turrets, and patrolling robots. "Subtle," Bulma remarked as they observed from a nearby ridge. "Think they're compensating for something?" Through her binoculars, she could see soldiers in distinctive uniforms, not Red Ribbon, but bearing Emperor Pilaf's personal insignia. "According to the radar, the last Dragon Ball is somewhere inside," she confirmed, passing the binoculars to Yamcha. The former bandit studied the fortress's defenses with a professional eye. "Getting in won't be easy. Those are top-tier security systems. Motion sensors, heat detectors, probably pressure plates too. Can't we just knock?" Goku asked, fidgeting impatiently. After weeks of traveling, they were tantalizingly close to completing their quest. Oolong snorted. "Sure, kid. Hello, evil emperor. Mind if we borrow your magical wish-granting orb? We'll bring it right back." Goku shrugged. "It might work. Grandpa always said being polite is important." "I doubt politeness will get us far with Emperor Pilaf," Yamcha replied, but his expression softened at Goku's earnest suggestion. "We need a stealth approach. Bulma, can you hack their security systems?" Bulma grinned, already unpacking her laptop. "Does a dragon grant wishes? Give me 15 minutes. As the others planned their infiltration, Goku sat cross-legged, extending his senses toward the castle. Beyond the physical defenses, he detected energy signatures, dozens of soldiers, several stronger presences that might be commanders, and at the center, a presence unlike the others. Not particularly powerful, but strange. Alien, almost. And something else. Something familiar, yet distorted. Goku's eyes snapped open. We're not alone. The others turned to him, alarmed by his tone. What do you mean? Yamcha asked, hand moving to his sword. Someone's watching us. And Goku frowned. The Red Ribbon Army is already inside the castle. Bulma looked up from her laptop. How could you possibly know that? Rather than explain his sensory abilities, Goku pointed to the castle's eastern wall, where tiny figures in red-ribboned uniforms were scaling the defenses. Well, that complicates things, Yamcha muttered. Or simplifies them, Bulma countered. Let them fight each other while we sneak in during the chaos. It was a sound plan. Too bad they didn't get to execute it. The night erupted in sudden, blinding light as spotlights from the castle swept the ridge where they hid. Alarms blared. A mechanized voice boomed across the valley, "Attention intruders. You have been detected. Surrender immediately or face termination." Oolong transformed into a tiny mouse, diving into Bulma's pocket. I vote for surrender. Surrender sounds great. Yamcha drew his sword. So much for stealth. Bulma frantically packed her equipment. We need to move. Now. But Goku remained seated, a look of intense concentration on his face. Wait. Something's wrong. The others barely had time to question him before the air itself seemed to tear open. A swirling vortex materialized 20 feet away, pulsing with malevolent energy. From this unnatural portal stepped a figure that caused even Goku to tense, tall and green-skinned, with pointed ears and antennae, wearing a purple GI emblazoned with a demonic symbol. Behind him followed smaller creatures of similar appearance, their expressions hungry and vicious. At last, the leader spoke, his voice resonating with ancient malice. The child with God's power. Yamcha positioned himself protectively in front of Bulma. King Piccolo, he whispered, his face pale with recognition. The Demon King smiled, revealing fanged teeth. My reputation precedes me. Good. That will save time. His gaze fixed on Goku, who had finally risen to his feet. You have something I need, boy. The Dragon Balls? Goku asked, his voice steady despite the palpable menace emanating from the demon. Piccolo laughed, the sound chilling. The orbs? Mere trinkets. No, child. I speak of what lies within you. He tapped his own chest. The power. The essence. That which makes you, unique. Behind them, the castle alarms continued to wail. Explosions erupted from within as the Red Ribbon forces engaged Pilaf's defenders. But all of that seemed distant, irrelevant compared to the confrontation unfolding on the ridge. I don't understand, Goku said honestly. Of course you don't. How could you? Piccolo circled them slowly, his offspring hissing and slavering at his heels. You're but a child, carrying power you cannot comprehend. Power that rightfully belongs to beings greater than yourself. Goku's expression hardened. My power is mine. Grandpa taught me how to use it properly. Did he now? Piccolo's eyes gleamed with mockery. And yet he died by your hand, did he not? Crushed by the very power he sought to tame. The words struck Goku like physical blows. His small frame trembled, not with fear but with a surge of emotion that made the ground beneath them vibrate in sympathy. How do you know that? Goku demanded. I know many things, child of stars. Piccolo spread his arms. I know your true heritage. I know why you possess such strength. And I know how to take it from you. The Demon King's hand shot forward, palm extended. A beam of purple energy lanced toward Goku, not an attack, but something worse. A spell designed to extract, to drain, to transfer. Goku didn't move. Didn't defend. The beam struck him directly in the chest. Goku! Bulma screamed. Nothing happened. The energy dissipated against Goku's body like water against stone, leaving him completely unharmed. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across Piccolo's face. Impossible. Goku looked down at himself, confused, then back at the Demon King. What did you try to do to me? Piccolo's expression contorted with rage. Your power should have transferred to me. The spell is ancient, infallible. Maybe my power doesn't work that way, Goku suggested simply. The Demon King roared in frustration, the sound shattering nearby rocks. Then I shall take it by force. Children, attack. Piccolo's offspring surged forward, a wave of green demons with murderous intent. Yamcha moved to intercept them, sword flashing. Goku, get Bulma out of here, he shouted, cutting down the first attacker. But Goku stood his ground. As the demons closed in, he took a deep breath, centering himself as Grandpa Gohan had taught him. Stay behind me, he told his friends quietly. What followed defied description. Goku moved, not with the raw destructive force he'd demonstrated against the Red Ribbon Army, but with something far more controlled. Each motion was precise, calculated, using only exactly as much power as needed. Demons were repelled, not destroyed. Force was redirected rather than generated. It was martial arts at its purest, the perfect union of power and control. In less than a minute, every one of Piccolo's offspring lay unconscious, none seriously harmed. The Demon King stared in disbelief. What manner of technique is this? Grandpa called it the gentle fist, Goku explained. For when you need to stop someone without hurting them too badly. Piccolo's shock gave way to calculating interest. You are full of surprises, child. His eyes narrowed. But you've yet to face a true Demon King. With a roar that split the very air, Piccolo summoned his full power. His body expanded, muscles bulging, veins pulsing with dark energy. The ground cracked beneath his feet. The sky above darkened with unnatural clouds. Now, boy, we shall see what you're truly made of. Piccolo attacked with speed belying his size, his fist crackling with demonic energy. The blow would have leveled a mountain. It struck Goku's open palm and stopped. The shockwave from the impact flattened the surrounding landscape for half a mile. Yamcha, Bulma, and the transformed Oolong were blown backward, saved only by Puar's quick transformation into a protective bubble. When the dust cleared, Piccolo and Goku stood facing each other, the demon's fist still pressed against the boy's palm. That tickled, Goku said, his voice carrying no mockery, just honest assessment. For the first time in his ancient existence, King Piccolo knew fear. Goku gently pushed the fist away. I don't want to fight you. We just came for the Dragon Ball. Piccolo staggered back, his power-up fading as quickly as it had come. What are you? The question hung in the air, interrupted by a new arrival. A massive airship descended from above, bearing the insignia of the Red Ribbon Army. Its forward guns trained on the group below. A voice boomed from loudspeakers, attention. This is Commander Red of the Red Ribbon Army. Surrender the Dragon Balls immediately. Piccolo sneered at this new interruption. Humans and their toys. He raised a hand toward the airship, gathering demonic energy for a blast. Don't. Goku warned. Too late. Piccolo fired, his beam streaking toward the airship with deadly intent. What happened next occurred too quickly for human eyes to track. Goku vanished, reappearing in the beam's path. With a sweeping motion of his arm, he deflected the attack skyward, where it exploded harmlessly in the upper atmosphere. The effort cost him nothing. Not even elevated breathing. Enough, Goku said, his voice carrying despite its softness. No more fighting. Something in his tone, or perhaps in the casual display of impossible power, gave both Piccolo and the Red Ribbon forces pause. In that moment of tense standoff, a new player entered the scene. From the castle emerged a small, blue-skinned figure flanked by robotic guards. Emperor Pilaf herself, clutching a glowing orange orb, the final Dragon Ball. "What is the meaning of this?" she demanded, her voice surprisingly high-pitched for someone of her reputation. "Who dares attack my castle?" Her eyes widened as she took in the tableau, King Piccolo, the Red Ribbon airship, and a small boy somehow at the center of it all. "The Dragon Balls," she gasped, noticing the backpack on Bulma's shoulders. "You're all after my wish." Commander Red's voice echoed again from the airship, "Emperor Pilaf. Surrender the final Dragon Ball or face the consequences." Pilaf clutched the orb tighter. "Never. I've waited too long for this moment." Piccolo, recovering his composure, laughed darkly. "Fools. Squabbling over trinkets while true power stands before you." The Demon King's eyes had never left Goku. Whatever the boy was, whatever power he possessed, Piccolo had not abandoned his desire to claim it. The standoff might have continued indefinitely if not for what happened next. Goku, tired of the pointless conflict, simply walked toward Emperor Pilaf. Not running, not attacking, just walking calmly across the battlefield. "Stay back!" Pilaf shrieked, her robots moving to intercept. Goku passed between them as if they weren't there, the machines freezing mid-motion at his proximity. "We need that Dragon Ball," Goku said when he reached Pilaf. "Please." The simple request, delivered without threat or demand, seemed to confuse the Emperor more than any attack could have. You can't just ask for it." Pilaf sputtered. "That's not how this works. There's supposed to be fighting and schemes and dramatic confrontations." Goku tilted his head. "Why? Wouldn't it be easier if we just talked?" The absurdity of the suggestion, this child proposing diplomacy in the midst of three opposing factions ready for war, struck Pilaf so forcefully that she burst into unexpected laughter. "Talked? Just talked?" She wiped tears from her eyes. "Kid, do you have any idea who I am? Who they are?" She gestured to Piccolo and the Red Ribbon airship. "You're people who want something," Goku replied simply. "Just like me. But I don't think we all need to fight about it." From the airship, Commander Red had heard enough. "Open fire." The Red Ribbon guns roared to life, spitting death toward everyone below. Pilaf screamed. Piccolo snarled, preparing a defensive shield. Goku looked up at the incoming barrage with mild annoyance. He raised one hand and flicked his wrist. The air rippled. Every bullet, every missile, every projectile stopped and hung suspended, like the previous encounter with Captain Silver but on a vastly larger scale. "I said no more." "Fighting," Goku repeated, his voice carrying to all present. With another gesture, he sent the ammunition harmlessly into the sky, where it detonated in a spectacular fireworks display. The demonstration silenced everyone. Even Piccolo stood speechless. In the quiet that followed, Goku turned back to Emperor Pilaf. "We need the Dragon Ball to bring my grandpa back." "What were you going to wish for?" Still clutching the orb, Pilaf answered automatically, "To rule the world, of course." Goku considered this. "Would that make you happy?" The question caught Pilaf off guard. "Happy? I suppose it would." "Why? Why?" Pilaf echoed, increasingly flustered. "Because I'd have power. Everyone would respect me. I'd never be laughed at again." Goku nodded thoughtfully. "That sounds lonely." "Lonely?" Pilaf's voice rose. "I'd be surrounded by subjects. But not friends," Goku observed. "Grandpa said true happiness comes from connections, not control." The simple wisdom, delivered without judgment, struck Pilaf more effectively than any attack. Her gaze moved from Goku to the Dragon Ball in her hands, then to the massive forces arrayed around them, all fighting for these magical orbs. "This is ridiculous," she muttered, more to herself than anyone else. "I've spent years chasing these things, and for what? So people will respect me?" She looked at Goku again. "Kid, you just stopped an entire army's worth of ammunition with a wave of your hand. That kind of power, that's what I really wanted." "Power isn't that great," Goku told her earnestly. "It's actually really hard sometimes. People get scared of you. Things break when you don't mean them to." His expression clouded. "People you love get hurt." The raw honesty in his voice reached something in Pilaf that years of scheming had buried. With a resigned sigh, she held out the Dragon Ball. "Here. Take it. Wish your grandpa back." Goku accepted the orb with genuine gratitude. "Thank you." From his airship, Commander Red watched in disbelief. "What is she doing? Stop them. The wish is mine." The airship's engines roared as it descended, mechanical arms extending to seize the Dragon Balls. Piccolo, seeing his opportunity slipping away, also moved to attack. Goku had had enough. Clutching the final Dragon Ball, he turned to face the threats converging from all sides. For the first time since they'd met him, his friends saw something new in his eyes, not anger, but determination. Purpose. "Bulma," he called, his voice steady. "How do we summon the dragon?" Bulma, recovering from the shock of the standoff, quickly joined him. "We need all 7 balls together. Then you call out to Shenron." Goku nodded, setting the final ball beside the others they had collected. As the 7 Dragon Balls came together, they pulsed with golden light, resonating with ancient power. "Everyone, stay back," Goku warned. Then, raising his hands toward the sky, he called out, "Eternal Dragon Shenron. I summon you to grant my wish." The Dragon Balls flashed blinding gold. The sky darkened further, unnatural night descending in seconds. Lightning crackled between earth and cloud as a massive, serpentine form took shape above them, scales gleaming emerald, eyes burning red, power radiating from every coil of its enormous body. Shenron, the eternal dragon, had arrived. "Who dares summon me?" The dragon's voice boomed across the landscape, causing even King Piccolo to step back in awe. Goku stood unwavering beneath the legendary beast. "I do. Son Goku." Red eyes focused on the tiny figure below. For a moment, something like recognition seemed to pass through those ancient orbs. "Speak your wish, mortal. I shall grant any one desire within my power." This was it. The moment Goku had journeyed so far to reach. The chance to undo his greatest regret. "I wish," he began. "For unlimited power." Commander Red's voice cut through the air as he leapt from his descending airship, a specially designed energy weapon aimed at Goku. "For my youth restored." King Piccolo snarled, summoning all his remaining strength for one final spell. "For everyone to stop interrupting me." Emperor Pilaf shrieked, stomping her foot in frustration. Chaos erupted as all 3 factions made their moves simultaneously. The red ribbon weapon fired, emitting a beam designed to absorb and redirect energy. Piccolo's spell lashed out, aiming to drain life force. Pilaf's robots activated emergency protocols, arms extending to grab the glowing Dragon Balls. At the center of it all, Goku stood motionless, eyes closed in perfect concentration. The attacks never reached their targets. An invisible barrier of pure energy expanded from Goku in all directions, holding everyone immobile, not harshly, but with gentle, implacable force. When Goku opened his eyes, they glowed with inner light. Not the light of rage or power, but of perfect clarity. "I wish," he continued, his voice quiet yet carrying to all present, "to bring back my grandfather, son Gohan, restored to health and life." The dragon's eyes flashed. "Your wish is granted." A column of light erupted nearby. When it faded, an elderly man stood before them, dressed in a simple jie, looking slightly confused but very much alive. "Grandpa!" Goku cried, his concentration breaking. The barrier fell as he ran forward, throwing his arms around Gohan with the enthusiasm of the child he still was, despite his incredible power. "Goku?" Gohan blinked in astonishment. "What? How?" "I found the Dragon Balls, Grandpa. Just like you told me about." Goku explained excitedly. "And I made friends. And I learned to control my power better." And, Gohan placed a gentle hand on Goku's head, stopping the flood of words. "Slow down, my boy. It seems I have much to catch up on." Above them, Shenron's massive form began to fade. "Farewell," the dragon intoned. "Until the next summoning." With a final flash of light, the dragon vanished. The 7 Dragon Balls rose into the air, spinning faster and faster before shooting off in different directions across the world, dormant now for a full year. The spectacle seemed to break the spell of confrontation. Commander Red stared at his useless weapon. King Piccolo gazed at his trembling hands. Emperor Pilaf sat heavily on the ground. "It's over," Yamcha said, coming to stand beside Goku and the resurrected Gohan. "You did it, kid." Gohan, taking in the scene, the Demon King, the military commander, the would-be world ruler, all rendered impotent by his grandson's presence, shook his head in wonder. "Goku, what exactly happened while I was gone?" Goku looked up at his grandfather with shining eyes. "I remembered what you taught me, Grandpa. About using my strength to protect, not destroy. About finding the right way, not just the easy way." Gohan's eyes misted with pride. "You've grown, my boy. Not just in power, but in wisdom." As dawn broke over the strange gathering, Commander Red ordered his forces to withdraw. Piccolo, understanding that the child's power was beyond his current ability to claim, vanished in a swirl of demonic energy, but not before casting one last, measuring look at Goku. "We will meet again, child of stars," he promised. "When you understand what you truly are." Only Emperor Pilaf remained, looking strangely deflated. "What will you do now?" Goku asked her. Pilaf shrugged. "I don't know. Find a new obsession, I suppose. World domination seems excessive after what I've seen today." Goku smiled. "You could try making friends instead. It's a lot more fun than trying to rule people." The simplicity of the suggestion made Pilaf laugh again, but this time without bitterness. "Maybe I will, kid. Maybe I will." As they prepared to leave, Gohan pulled Goku aside. "The power you showed today, it's beyond anything I taught you." Goku nodded. "It just keeps growing, Grandpa. Sometimes it scares me." "What scares me," Gohan replied softly, "is that I suspect this is only the beginning." "The dragon, did you notice how he looked at you? Not as a supplicant, but as an equal." Goku frowned. "What does that mean?" "I'm not sure," Gohan admitted. "But I believe our journey together is far from over. There are questions about your origins, your true potential, that remain unanswered." Goku took his grandfather's hand, squeezing it with carefully controlled strength. "We'll figure it out together this time. I promise I'll never hurt you again." Gohan smiled gently. "My boy, the greatest power you possess isn't in your fists or your energy. It's in your heart." He gazed at the new friends Goku had made, at the former enemies now departing in peace. "That's a power even gods might envy." As the sun rose fully on a new day, Goku and his expanded group of companions set off together. The quest for the Dragon Balls was complete, but their adventures were just beginning. For the child born with power beyond understanding, the true journey would be discovering not the extent of his strength, but its purpose in a universe far larger and more complex than any of them yet realized. Chapter 2, Gods Among Us. 5 years passed. The mountain home that once housed just Goku and Grandpa Gohan had expanded, a compound now, with several buildings surrounding the original cabin. The wilderness still dominated, but signs of civilization had crept in: satellite dishes for Bulma's research equipment, a small landing pad for visitors, training grounds cleared from the forest. Goku, now 17, moved through his morning kata with fluid precision. His body had matured into that of a young man, but his eyes still held childlike wonder, though tempered now with experience, with loss regained, with lessons learned. "Your form has improved," Gohan observed from the porch, sipping tea. "But you're still holding back." Goku completed the sequence before responding. "Always." It wasn't resignation in his voice, just fact. In 5 years, his power had continued to grow, defying explanation or measurement. Control remained his greatest challenge and highest priority. "Sometimes I wonder," Gohan mused, "if we're approaching this correctly." Goku wiped sweat from his brow, though his breathing remained perfectly steady. The morning exercises that would exhaust most martial arts masters were merely warm-ups for him. "What do you mean, Grandpa?" "Restraint is necessary, yes. But complete suppression." Gohan set down his teacup. "I fear we're treating your power as something to be contained rather than understood." Before Goku could respond, a distant rumble caught their attention. Both turned toward the eastern sky, where a streak of light cut through the morning blue, too controlled to be a meteor, too fast for any Earth aircraft. "We have company," Gohan said quietly. Goku nodded, extending his senses. The approaching energy signature was familiar somehow. Not human, not demon like Piccolo, but resonating with something deep within himself. "Stay here, Grandpa," he said, levitating gently off the ground. "I'll check it out." Gohan didn't protest. After his resurrection, he'd accepted a difficult truth: his role had evolved from protector to advisor. His grandson had surpassed him in every physical way years ago. Goku streaked toward the incoming object, his flight leaving a faint trail of displaced air. As he neared, he could see it was a spacecraft, similar to the attack pod that had brought him to Earth as an infant, though larger. The craft crashed into a clearing miles from any settlement. Goku hovered above, watching as dust and debris settled around the impact crater. The pod's door hissed open. A man emerged, tall, muscular, with hair as wild and black as Goku's own. He wore strange armor over a bodysuit, and a device attached to his ear with a colored lens over one eye. Most distinctive was what swayed behind him, a tail, brown and furred, just like Goku had possessed as a child. The stranger's first action was to check the device on his ear, tapping it as numbers scrolled across the lens. "That can't be right," he muttered, adjusting settings. "The scouter must be malfunctioning." Goku descended slowly, making no effort to conceal his approach. "Are you looking for me?" The stranger spun, dropping into a combat stance. His scouter beeped wildly, numbers flashing before exploding in a shower of sparks. The man ripped it from his face with a curse. "Impossible," he breathed, staring at Goku with wide eyes. "Kakarot?" Goku landed lightly a few yards away. "That's the second time someone's called me that. My name is Son Goku." The stranger's expression cycled rapidly through disbelief, fear, and something like awe. "It really is you. My brother." "Brother?" Goku tilted his head, studying the man more carefully. Now that he mentioned it, there was a resemblance beyond just the hair. Something in the jawline, the set of the eyes. "I am Raditz, first son of Bardock," the stranger declared, straightening. "And you are Kakarot, my younger brother, sent to this planet as an infant." His eyes narrowed. "Though you were supposed to have conquered it by now, not, whatever it is you're doing." "Conquered?" Goku's expression hardened slightly. "Why would I do that?" Raditz laughed, though there was an edge of nervousness to it. "Because that's what Saiyans do, little brother. We're warriors, conquerors of worlds." He gestured to himself proudly. "The greatest fighting race in the universe." "Saiyans," Goku repeated the unfamiliar word. "Is that what I am?" "Of course. Raditz studied him with growing confusion. Didn't you receive your programming? The pod should have. He stopped, noticing something. Where's your tail? Goku unconsciously touched his lower back. Grandpa removed it permanently after an incident. It caused problems when I saw the full moon. Raditz's face paled. You transformed? Here. Alone. He glanced around as if expecting to see a devastated landscape. How much of this planet did you destroy? Just a mountain, Goku answered softly. And my grandpa. Though I wished him back. Wished him. Raditz shook his head. Never mind. Listen, Kakarot, I've come to bring you home. What's left of our race needs every scion, especially one of your potential. Something in his hesitation caught Goku's attention. You're afraid of me. It wasn't a question. Raditz tensed, his tail bristling. Don't be ridiculous. I'm your older brother, a full-fledged scion warrior who's conquered dozens of worlds. Why would I fear you? Goku took a single step forward. Just one. The ground beneath his foot cracked slightly. Raditz took 3 steps back. Because you can sense it, Goku said simply. Whatever this power is inside me. It's not normal, even for what you call a scion. Is it? Raditz swallowed. No. It's not. When you were born, your power level was unprecedented. Father sent you away to protect you. Protect me? Or protect others from me? The question hung in the air, unanswered because both knew the truth. Raditz recovered some of his composure. Regardless, you need to come with me. Prince Vegeta will want to see you for himself. I'm not leaving Earth, Goku stated firmly. This is my home. These are my people. These weaklings. Raditz scoffed, though the bravado seemed forced. You belong with your own kind, Kakarot. My name, he repeated with gentle firmness, is Goku. A tense silence stretched between them, broken by the arrival of a new voice. Goku? Everything okay? Yamcha approached from the east, having sensed the commotion. The former desert bandit had become one of Goku's closest friends and training partners over the years, though the training was mostly Yamcha learning from Goku rather than any real exchange. Raditz's scouter might have been broken, but his scion instinct still let him assess the newcomer's strength. Another weakling, he sneered. Is this what you've surrounded yourself with, brother? Insects who couldn't survive a day on a real battlefield? Yamcha bristled but held his position. 5 years around Goku had taught him when fights were beyond his level. This is my friend, Goku said simply. And you're being rude. The mild rebuke carried weight beyond the words themselves. Raditz felt it, a subtle pressure in the air, a reminder of the gulf between their powers. Fine, Raditz conceded, his tone moderating. But at least hear me out. Our planet, Vegeta, was destroyed years ago. Only a handful of scions survived, including Prince Vegeta himself. We've been working for a tyrant named Frieza, conquering planets in his name. Sounds like a great guy, Yamcha muttered sarcastically. Raditz ignored him. Recently, Vegeta has begun planning rebellion. But we need strength. Your strength, Kakarot. He gestured to the sky. Frieza is the most powerful being in the known universe. Only someone with power like yours might stand against him. Goku considered this. If this Frieza is hurting people, that's wrong. But I won't leave Earth unprotected. You don't understand, Raditz pressed. If Frieza learns of your existence, of a scion with your potential, he'll come here. He'll destroy this entire planet just to eliminate the threat. Let him try, Goku replied, not as a boast but as simple fact. Raditz stared at his brother, truly taking in the quiet confidence, the absolute certainty in his stance. This wasn't the bravado of ignorance. Kakarot genuinely believed he could face the Emperor of the Universe and win. The terrifying thing was, Raditz was beginning to believe it too. At least meet with Vegeta, Raditz tried again. He and Nappa are on their way here now. I was sent ahead to prepare you. To manipulate me, Goku corrected gently. Raditz didn't deny it. To convince you. There's a difference. Not much of one. Goku turned to Yamcha. Let's head back. If more visitors are coming, Grandpa should know. Wait. Raditz called as they began to leave. Will you at least consider joining us? For the sake of what remains of your people. Goku paused, looking back at this stranger who claimed to be his brother. Despite the rough introduction, he felt no malice from Raditz, fear, yes, and desperation, but not evil. I'll listen to what your prince has to say, Goku conceded. But my home is here. As Goku and Yamcha took to the air, Raditz watched them go with a mixture of relief and trepidation. He activated his ship's communication system, knowing Prince Vegeta would want an immediate report. Well? The prince's voice crackled through the speaker. Did you find him? Yes, my prince. He's everything the legend said. Maybe more. A pause. And will he join us? Raditz chose his words carefully. He's agreed to meet with you. But Prince Vegeta, there's something you should know. Kakarot doesn't consider himself a Saiyan. He calls himself Goku and considers Earth his home. His allegiance can be changed, Vegeta dismissed. What matters is his power. Is it as great as we hoped? My scouter exploded just being in his presence, Raditz admitted. And he wasn't even trying. I don't think he knows how to try anymore. Another pause, longer this time. When Vegeta spoke again, his tone had changed subtly. Interesting. Very interesting. The prince seemed to be speaking more to himself than to Raditz. Perhaps this changes our approach. If Kakarot is truly that powerful, then maybe we don't need to fight Frieza at all. My prince? Never mind. Continue monitoring your brother. We'll arrive within 2 Earth days. And Raditz? Yes, sire. Don't antagonize him. Whatever you do, don't give him any reason to consider us enemies. The transmission ended, leaving Raditz alone with thoughts that increasingly resembled prayers, that his prince knew what he was doing, that his brother could be reasoned with, and that the monster Frieza never learned of the godlike power growing up on this backwater planet. Too late on. All counts. Across the vastness of space, on a ship that resembled a small city more than a spacecraft, a being both feared and worshipped throughout the galaxy sat motionless on his hover throne. White and purple skin gleamed under the ship's lights as delicate-looking fingers tapped rhythmically on the throne's arm. Say that again, Frieza commanded, his voice deceptively soft. The trembling soldier knelt lower, forehead nearly touching the polished floor. Intercepted communications, Lord Frieza. From the Saiyan Raditz to Prince Vegeta. And they spoke of another Saiyan. One with unusual power. Why yes, my lord. Called him Kakarot. Said his power was beyond measurement. Frieza's tail swept slowly across the floor, the only outward sign of his interest. Curious. I thought I had exterminated all Saiyans of consequence. His red eyes narrowed. Where is this Kakarot? A planet called Earth, my lord. Coordinates already plotted. Earth, Frieza tested the word. Never heard of it. Is it valuable? Minimal resources by our standards, Lord Frieza. Not worth conquering under normal protocols. Frieza rose from his throne, moving to the viewport to gaze at the stars. His reflection showed a placid expression belying the calculations behind it. Set course for Earth. I believe I'll handle this personally. The soldier's eyes widened in shock. Personally, my lord. But surely such a minor matter could be handled by, he never finished the sentence. Frieza's tail lashed out, piercing through the soldier's chest with surgical precision. The body collapsed without another sound. Anyone else care to question my decisions? Frisia asked pleasantly. The bridge crew worked with renewed focus, none daring to make eye contact. I thought not. Frisia returned to contemplating the stars. This Kakarot intrigues me. A scion of immeasurable power. He smiled thinly. How delightful it will be to measure it, then extinguish it. Personally. At Goku's mountain home, a council of sorts had assembled. Grandpa Gohan sat at the head of the table, his wise eyes taking in the unusual gathering, Goku and Yamcha, of course, but also Bulma, now head of Capsule Corp's R&D division, Oolong, Puar, and their newest arrival, Raditz, who sat uncomfortably at the far end, clearly unused to peaceful discussions. Let me see if I understand, Gohan summarized. Goku is from a race of warriors called Scions. His birth name is Kakarot. And now his prince is coming to Earth, hoping to recruit him for a rebellion against an intergalactic tyrant. That is correct, Raditz confirmed, his eyes constantly darting to Goku with a mixture of wariness and wonder. And this tyrant, Frisia, he destroyed your home planet? Raditz nodded grimly. Blew it to cosmic dust, along with most of our race. Only 4 full-blooded scions survived, to my knowledge, Prince Vegeta, his bodyguard Nappa, myself, and Kakarot. Goku, Bulma corrected firmly. Right. Goku. Raditz still struggled with the name. Gohan stroked his beard thoughtfully. And these scions, they transform under the full moon? Into great apes, yes. Our power increases tenfold in that form. Goku's expression darkened at the reminder of his own transformation, the one that had killed his grandfather before the Dragon Balls restored him. Goku's power already exceeds anything I've ever encountered, Gohan noted. Are you saying it could be 10 times greater? Raditz shuddered visibly at the thought. Theoretically. Though without his tail. I'm glad it's gone, Goku said firmly. I never want to lose control like that again. Bulma, who had been unusually quiet, finally spoke up. This is all fascinating, but we're missing the obvious question. She fixed Raditz with a penetrating stare. Why should we trust you? For all we know, your prince wants Goku's power for his own conquests. Raditz shifted uncomfortably. Prince Vegeta is complex. But he's not Frisia. He doesn't destroy for pleasure. Just for profit? Bulma pressed. For survival, Raditz countered, a flash of genuine emotion breaking through. You don't understand what it's like, serving a monster like Frisia. What we've had to do just to live another day. The rawness in his voice silenced Bulma's objections. Goku studied his brother with new interest. How long? Goku asked. Raditz looked confused. How long what? How long have you served him? Frisia. Since I was a child, Raditz answered quietly. Since our planet was destroyed. Over 20 Earth years. Goku nodded, understanding something that perhaps the others missed. Despite Raditz's tough exterior, he recognized the signs of someone who had lived too long under another's boot, the wariness, the carefully controlled speech, the constant assessment of threats. I want to meet this Prince Vegeta, Goku decided. Not to join him, but to understand what we're facing. Gohan nodded approval. Wise. Knowledge before commitment. Bulma still looked skeptical but didn't argue further. She'd known Goku long enough to trust his judgment of character, even if this particular character was his previously unknown alien brother. When will they arrive? Yamcha asked. Tomorrow, Raditz replied. Their ships are faster than mine. Then we should prepare, Gohan said, rising from his seat. Bulma, would Capsule Corporation be willing to host this meeting? Somewhere remote, with proper facilities? Bulma nodded. I'll arrange everything. My father's testing grounds in the western desert would work, isolated, but with all the amenities. Excellent. Gohan turned to Raditz. You'll stay with us tonight. I'd like to learn more about these scions, if you're willing to share. Raditz seemed surprised by the hospitality. Yes, I can do that. As the meeting broke up, Goku approached his brother. Want to spar? Raditz nearly choked. Spar? With you? He glanced at Yamcha. Is he serious? Yamcha grinned. Completely. But don't worry, he's really good at holding back. That's not reassuring, Raditz muttered, but found himself following Goku to a cleared training area behind the house. That spar that followed was enlightening for both brothers. Raditz quickly realized that Goku's control was as impressive as his power. He perfectly matched Raditz's level, creating a genuine exchange rather than a one-sided demonstration. You're skilled, Goku commented as they exchanged blows at a speed human eyes could barely track. Your technique is different from Earth styles, but the principles are similar. Raditz blocked a punch that could have leveled mountains, delivered with just enough force to test his guard. You're holding back so much it's ridiculous, he panted. I can feel it, like sparring with a star that's decided not to burn me. Goku smiled apologetically. Sorry. I don't get many chances to really fight. Most people can't handle even this much. Not even your friends. Yamcha's strong by Earth standards. But. Goku shrugged. Raditz lowered his guard, a genuine laugh escaping him. You know, when I was sent to find you, I expected either a conquest-minded scion or a weakling who'd gone native. I never imagined. He gestured vaguely at Goku. Whatever you are. I'm just me, Goku replied simply. Scion, Earthling, whatever, those are just words. What matters is what you choose to do with what you have. The sincerity in his voice struck Raditz more powerfully than any physical blow. For a brief moment, he glimpsed what it might be like to live without constant fear, without the weight of servitude or the pressure to conquer. Prince Vegeta isn't going to understand you at all, Raditz predicted. And that terrifies me almost as much as your power. Before Goku could respond, a subtle shift in the atmosphere made both brothers look up. Miles away, yet clearly visible to their enhanced senses, a familiar green figure hovered in the sky, watching. King Piccolo, Goku identified. Or his son. Their energy feels almost identical. Raditz tensed. Namekian? Here. He reached instinctively for a scouter that wasn't there. How powerful is he? Strong, Goku answered honestly. One of the strongest on Earth. But not a threat to us. As if hearing this assessment, the distant figure nodded once before flying away. He's been watching me for years, Goku explained. Ever since our confrontation at Pilaf's castle. Never attacks, just observes. Studying you, Raditz realized. Learning your patterns, your weaknesses. His expression grew troubled. Kakarot, Goku, you may understand power, but you don't understand enemies. Not real ones. On other worlds, I've seen beings plan revenge for decades, centuries even. Goku considered this. Maybe. Or maybe he's just curious. Not everything is about fighting, brother. Raditz shook his head in disbelief. Prince Vegeta is going to have a conniption when he meets you. The next morning dawned clear and bright. Bulma arrived in a sleek capsule corp aircraft to transport everyone to the meeting site. The craft was luxury itself, designed for executives and dignitaries, with plush seating and panoramic windows. Fancy, Yamcha commented as they boarded. Bulma winked. Only the best for intergalactic diplomacy. As they soared toward the western desert, Goku sat quietly, gazing out at the landscape below. Earth, his home, though apparently not his birthplace. The revelation of his scion origins hadn't shaken his identity as much as one might expect. Perhaps because his extraordinary power had always set him apart, the knowledge that he came from beyond the stars seemed more explanation than revelation. Penny for your thoughts. Gohan asked, settling beside him. Goku smiled at his grandfather. Just thinking about home. Feeling torn? No, Goku answered honestly. Earth is my home. These are my people. Knowing I was born somewhere else doesn't change that. Gohan nodded, pride evident in his eyes. Identity is chosen, not given, my boy. Remember that when Prince Vegeta tries to claim you for his heritage. The testing ground sprawled across 50 square miles of desert. At its center stood a complex of buildings, laboratories, hangars, and a main facility that could comfortably host their visitors. Bulma had spared no expense, even arranging a feast fit for Saiyan appetites. They arrived with hours to spare before the expected landing. Raditz grew increasingly nervous as the time approached, pacing the facility's entrance hall. Remember, he repeated for perhaps the 10th time, Prince Vegeta is accustomed to absolute deference. Do not contradict him directly. Do not, we get it, Bulma interrupted. Royal alien with ego issues. Not my first rodeo with entitled royalty. Raditz looked like he might have a stroke. This isn't some Earth monarch. Prince Vegeta has destroyed entire civilizations. So has my friend, Bulma retorted, nodding toward Goku. Accidentally, as a child, before he learned control. And yet here he is, perfectly pleasant company. Before Raditz could respond, a distant rumble shook the building. 2 streaks of light cut across the sky, heading directly for the landing area Bulma had designated. They're here, Raditz announced unnecessarily, his face paling. The group moved outside to observe the arrival. 2 pods, identical to Raditz's but newer, crashed into the reinforced landing zone with earth-shaking force. Dust and debris billowed outward, temporarily obscuring the sight. When it cleared, 2 figures stood amid the small craters. One was enormous, a bald giant with a mustache and Saiyan armor similar to Raditz's. The other was shorter but radiated authority and danger in equal measure, compact, flame-haired, with a perpetual scowl that suggested smiling was beneath his dignity. Prince Vegeta, Raditz called, hurrying forward to kneel before the smaller Saiyan. Nappa. Welcome to Earth. Vegeta ignored him, his dark eyes fixed immediately on Goku. The prince's scouter beeped rapidly before he calmly removed it. So, he said, his voice surprisingly refined, you're Kakarot. Goku stepped forward, offering a polite bow that acknowledged status without subservience. I'm called Goku here. Vegeta's eyes narrowed fractionally. Of course you are. He glanced around, taking in the facility and the assembled Earthlings with barely disguised disdain. Raditz tells me you've gone native. I see he wasn't exaggerating. Earth is my home, Goku replied simply. Is it? Vegeta began walking a slow circle around Goku, assessing him like a prized specimen. Do you even know what you are, Kakarot? What flows in your veins? Saiyan blood, Goku answered calmly. So I'm told. Not just any Saiyan blood. Vegeta stopped his circling, facing Goku directly. Tell me, what do you know of your birth? Of why you were sent away? Goku glanced at Raditz, who remained kneeling, eyes downcast. Not much. Raditz said our father sent me here to protect me. Vegeta laughed, a sharp, humorless sound. Protect you? Is that what he told you? He shook his head. Bardock sent you away because your power level at birth caused panic throughout our society. You were an anomaly, Kakarot. A mutation. King Vegeta, my father, ordered your execution. The casual revelation hung in the air. Goku's expression remained unchanged, though something flickered in his eyes. The records say you were born with a power level of over 10,000, Vegeta continued. An infant with the strength of an elite warrior. Unheard of. Impossible. A threat to the established order. So my father saved me, Goku concluded. Your father stole you away in the night and launched your pod to the farthest coordinates he could program, Vegeta corrected. Whether from parental affection or recognition of your potential, I couldn't say. He died when Frieza destroyed our planet, along with almost everyone else who knew of your existence. Throughout this exchange, the giant Saiyan, Nappa, had remained unusually quiet, his eyes darting between Vegeta and Goku with growing unease. Now he cleared his throat. Prince Vegeta, perhaps we should move this discussion inside. The planet's sun is unpleasant. It was an obvious excuse. The desert heat seemed to bother Goku and the Earthlings far less than the two newly arrived Saiyans. But Vegeta nodded curtly. Lead the way, he directed Bulma, who bristled at the commanding tone but complied with remarkable restraint. Inside, seated around a conference table laden with food that Nappa immediately began devouring, Vegeta came to the point. I'll be direct, Kakarot. We need your power. Frieza has ruled over what remains of our race for too long. With your strength added to mine, we could overthrow him. Goku considered this. This Frieza, he's hurt a lot of people. Billions, Nappa mumbled around a mouthful of food. Whole planets. Makes what we Saiyans did look like playground stuff. And if we defeat him? What then? Goku asked, looking directly at Vegeta. The prince smiled thinly. Then the natural order is restored. The Saiyan race takes its rightful place as the premier warrior society in the galaxy. Meaning? Meaning we rule instead of serve, Vegeta stated flatly. Is that so difficult to understand? Goku leaned forward slightly. And would you rule differently than Frieza does? The question caught Vegeta off guard. For a brief moment, uncertainty flashed across his features before the royal mask returned. Of course. We Saiyans appreciate strength. We wouldn't destroy potential assets out of paranoia, as Frieza does. But you would still conquer. Still take what isn't yours. Vegeta's expression hardened. It's the way of the universe, Kakarot. The strong rule the weak. Always have, always will. No, Goku said simply. It doesn't have to be that way. The room temperature seemed to drop several degrees. Nappa stopped eating, glancing nervously between his prince and the abnormally powerful Saiyan challenging him. Careful, Kakarot, Vegeta warned, his voice dangerously soft. You may have been born with extraordinary power, but you know nothing of our ways, our history, I know enough, Goku interrupted gently. I know that power doesn't give you the right to harm others. I know that strength comes with responsibility, not privilege. Vegeta's fist slammed onto the table, cracking its surface. Earthling platitudes. You speak like one of them. I am one of them, Goku replied, unmoved by the outburst. By choice, if not by birth. For a moment, it seemed Vegeta might attack, his power flared visibly, an aura of energy surrounding him like blue flame. Nappa tensed, ready for violence. Raditz looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. Then, surprisingly, Vegeta laughed. Not the mocking sound from earlier, but genuine, if slightly unhinged, amusement. Oh, this is rich, he said, his aura receding. The most powerful Saiyan in a millennium, and he's been raised as a peace-loving Earthling. He shook his head. The universe has a twisted sense of humor. Prince Vegeta? Nappa questioned, confused by the sudden shift. Vegeta waved him off. It's fine, Nappa. Our approach simply needs adjustment. He turned his calculating gaze back to Goku. Let me put this in terms your adopted ethics might accept, Kakarot. Frieza isn't just a threat to Saiyan ambitions. He's a planet killer, a genocidal tyrant who destroys entire civilizations on whims. If that's true, Gohan interjected, speaking for the first time since the Saiyans' arrival, then he should be stopped regardless of what comes after. Vegeta's eyes flickered to the old man, reassessing him. Precisely. Whatever disagreements we may have about the natural order can wait until after Frieza is eliminated. Goku studied Vegeta carefully. The prince was adaptable, he had to give him that, shifting tactics the moment he realized his original approach wouldn't work. If Frisia is as dangerous as you say, why hasn't he come here already? Bulma asked, her scientific mind focusing on practical details. If Goku's power is so extraordinary, why hasn't it attracted attention before now? Raditz answered, Earth is in an isolated sector. And until recently, Kakarot, Goku's power wasn't detectable across space. Something's changed in the last few years. The Dragon Balls, Gohan suggested. When Shenron was summoned to restore me, the energy release was substantial. Vegeta's head snapped toward Gohan. Dragon Balls. Wish-granting orbs. His eyes gleamed with sudden interest. You have those on this planet? The shift in his attention was so transparent that even Nappa looked embarrassed. They're currently inactive, Goku said, a slight edge entering his voice. And not relevant to our discussion. Vegeta composed himself with visible effort. Of course. Merely cultural interest. He cleared his throat. The point remains, Frisia is a universal threat, and you have the power to help us eliminate him. Before Goku could respond, the building's security system blared to life. Red lights flashed as Bulma's phone buzzed urgently. Multiple objects entering Earth's atmosphere, she reported, checking the alert. Big ones. Not meteors, they're decelerating. Vegeta and Nappa exchanged alarmed looks. How many? The prince demanded. At least 3 large vessels, Bulma answered, pulling up satellite imagery. And, dozens of smaller craft deploying from them. He's found us, Raditz whispered, face ashen. Frisia's found us. Impossible, Vegeta hissed. We covered our tracks, used scrambled communications, doesn't matter now, Goku interrupted, standing. If he's here to threaten Earth, I'll deal with him. The casual confidence with which Goku made this statement silenced everyone. It wasn't bravado or naivety, it was the simple certainty of someone stating an obvious fact. Vegeta stared at him. With a mixture of disbelief and re-evaluation. You have no idea what you're up against, Kakarot. Then educate me, Goku replied, on the way. Without waiting for a response, he walked toward the exit. After a moment's hesitation, the 3 Saiyans followed, with Bulma, Gohan, and Yamcha close behind. Outside, the sky had darkened with the shadows of massive ships hovering over the desert. The largest, shaped like a flattened sphere with biomechanical elements, descended slowly toward a plateau several miles away. Frisia's personal vessel, Nappa identified grimly. He really did come himself. Capsule Corp's defenses won't hold against that kind of firepower, Bulma said, already typing commands into her device. I'm evacuating all personnel. A wise precaution, Vegeta agreed, eyes fixed on the descending ships. Kakarot, listen carefully. Frisia has multiple forms, each more powerful than the last. In his final form, his power is monstrous. How monstrous? Goku asked, stretching casually as if preparing for a workout rather than potentially facing the galaxy's most feared tyrant. He destroyed our planet with one finger, Raditz said quietly. Just pointed and. He made an exploding gesture. Goku nodded thoughtfully. That's pretty strong. The understatement was so absurd that Nappa barked a surprised laugh. Kid, you're either the bravest or craziest Saiyan I've ever met. Possibly both, Vegeta muttered. He studied Goku with narrowed eyes. You're really not afraid, are you? Goku considered the question seriously. I respect the threat. But no, I'm not afraid. He smiled slightly. Grandpa always said fear is just a distraction during a fight. Your grandfather is either very wise or very foolish, Vegeta replied. We'll soon find out which. Frisia's ship completed its landing, settling onto the plateau with surprising delicacy for its massive size. Smaller vessels positioned themselves in a perimeter around it. They're establishing a defensive formation, Raditz observed. Standard protocol for planetary assessment before conquest or destruction. How long before they attack? Yamcha asked, trying to mask his anxiety. They won't, Vegeta said grimly. Not yet. First, Frieza will want to confirm Kakarot's existence and power level. He's methodical that way. As if on cue, a small delegation emerged from the main ship, a dozen soldiers in matching armor, followed by 3 distinctive figures. The Ginyu Force, Nappa growled. Frieza's elite squad. Goku studied the approaching warriors with interest. Even at this distance, he could sense their power, significant by most standards, though nowhere near what he'd felt from King Piccolo at full strength. I'll go meet them, Goku decided. Alone. That's suicide. Nappa protested. No, Vegeta contradicted, his eyes never leaving Goku. It's a demonstration. He nodded slightly. Go, Kakarot. Show Frieza exactly what he's facing. With a reassuring smile to his concerned grandfather, Goku lifted effortlessly into the air and flew toward the plateau. As he approached, he could make out the Ginyu Force more clearly, 5 warriors of various species, each with distinctive appearance and fighting stance. They formed a V formation as he neared, clearly prepared for combat. Goku landed 30 feet from them, hands relaxed at his sides. Hello, he greeted simply. I'm Goku. The purple-skinned leader stepped forward, striking a dramatic pose. I am Captain Ginyu. And these are the illustrious Ginyu Force, Lord Frieza's elite warriors. The others struck equally flamboyant poses, calling out their names in sequence. Goku blinked, slightly taken aback by the theatrics. Nice to meet you. Ginyu straightened, eyeing Goku with professional assessment. So you're the scion causing all the fuss. You don't look like much. Sorry to disappoint you, Goku replied honestly. Ginyu chuckled. Lord Frieza will be the judge of that. He's very interested in meeting you. Kakarot, is it? I prefer Goku. Preferences matter little to Lord Frieza, Ginyu responded. You will come with us now. It wasn't a request. The Ginyu Force shifted subtly, preparing to enforce the command if necessary. Goku shook his head. I'm happy to meet your lord, but on neutral ground. Not on his ship. Jinyu's expression darkened. You misunderstand. This isn't a negotiation. I'm trying to be polite, Goku explained, still perfectly calm. But I won't be taken prisoner. The captain's patience expired. Guldo, hold him in place. Jees, Berter, restrain him. The smallest member of the force, a 4-eyed alien, activated some kind of time manipulation ability. Simultaneously, the red-skinned Jees and blue-skinned Berter launched themselves at Goku with blinding speed. Or what would have been blinding to anyone else. To Goku, they moved in slow motion. The time freeze that should have immobilized him registered as nothing more than a slight pressure, easily ignored. As Jees and Berter approached, Goku simply stepped aside. One moment he was directly in their path, the next, he stood 3 feet to the left, completely untouched. The 2 warriors collided with each other, their momentum carrying them into an ungraceful heap. What the, Ginyu began, his composure cracking. Guldo strained visibly, sweat pouring down his face as he attempted to intensify his time hold. Captain. I can't, he's not affected. Impossible. Rikum, take him down. The largest member of the force charged, the ground shaking beneath his massive form. He launched a planet-shattering punch directly at Goku's face. Goku caught it with one hand. Not blocked it, caught it, like stopping a child's playful swing. That was a good punch, Goku commended, holding the giant's fist effortlessly. Strong technique. But you telegraph your moves too much. With gentle pressure, he pushed Rikum's fist back, sending the warrior stumbling without actually harming him. Captain Jinyu's scouter was beeping frantically, numbers scrolling too rapidly to read before the device exploded against his face. He tore it off with a curse. "What are you?" he demanded, genuine fear entering his voice for perhaps the first time in his long career. Goku smiled apologetically. "Just someone who wants to protect his home." Before Jinyu could respond, the air around them seemed to compress. A new presence approached from Frisia's ship, smaller than the Jinyu force members physically, but radiating power that dwarfed theirs combined. "Well, well," came a cultured, almost delicate voice. "What have we here?" The Jinyu force immediately dropped to one knee, heads bowed. "Lord Frisia," Jinyu addressed the newcomer. "We were just, failing spectacularly, it appears," Frisia interrupted, his tail swishing slowly behind him as he hovered forward. In this, his first form, he appeared almost unassuming, short, with bioarmor plating and a head reminiscent of a horned skull. His eyes, though, revealed the malevolence within, cold, calculating, utterly devoid of empathy. Those eyes fixed on Goku with immediate interest. "So you're the mysterious scion I've heard so much about." "Kakarot, was it?" "I'm called Goku," he corrected politely. "And you must be Frisia." Frisia smiled thinly. "My reputation precedes me, I see." "Good." He descended fully to the ground, dismissing the Jinyu force with a flick of his hand. They retreated immediately, grateful to be out of the tyrant's immediate attention. "I must say," Frisia continued, circling Goku much as Vegeta had earlier, "you're not what I expected. The report suggested a power anomaly, yet you appear unremarkable." "I've been told I'm good at hiding it," Goku replied candidly. "Indeed?" Frisia's eyes gleamed with malicious curiosity. "Then perhaps a demonstration is in order." Without warning, his tail lashed out at supersonic speed, aiming directly for Goku's throat, a killing blow that had decapitated countless opponents throughout the galaxy. Goku didn't dodge. He didn't block. He simply stood there as the tail struck him, and stopped, as if hitting an immovable object. No blood, no pain, not even a mark on his skin. Frisia's composure slipped for the first time. "What?" Goku gently pushed the tail aside. "I'd rather not fight if we can avoid it," he said. "Why are you here, Frisia?" The tyrant recovered quickly, his surprise transforming into calculating interest. "Initially, to eliminate a potential scion threat." His lipless mouth curved into a smile. "Now, I find myself intrigued." "What are you, really?" "I told you. My name is Goku. I'm from Earth." "Don't play games," Frisia hissed, his pleasant facade cracking. "No scion has this kind of power. Not even their legendary Super Saiyan was said to be this unnatural." Goku tilted his head curiously. "Super Saiyan? What's that?" Frisia stared at him in disbelief. "You truly don't know? The mythical transformation of your race? The power that even I—" He stopped himself, regaining control. "Never mind. Ancient legends are irrelevant. What matters is the here and now." In the distance, Goku sensed Vegeta and the others watching tensely. He could feel Vegeta's frustration and impatience from here. The prince clearly wanted to join the confrontation. "Here's what will happen," Frisia continued, his voice returning to its cultured tones. "You will come with me, join my forces as an elite warrior. In return, I will spare this insignificant planet and its inhabitants." Goku smiled faintly. "That's very generous. But no thank you." Frisia's eyes narrowed dangerously. "Perhaps I wasn't clear. This isn't an offer you can refuse." "I just did," Goku pointed out reasonably. For a moment, Frisia seemed genuinely at a loss, probably not accustomed to straightforward rejection. Then his expression darkened. "Very well. Let me demonstrate the consequences of defying Lord Frisia." He raised one finger toward the sky. A small energy ball formed at its tip, then rapidly expanded into a massive sphere of destructive power. The same technique, Goku realized, that Raditz had described destroying planet Vegeta. This attack can obliterate your entire planet, Frieza explained casually. One finger, one thought, and everything you claim to protect ceases to exist. The death ball grew larger, its malevolent energy casting an unnatural light across the desert landscape. The Jinyu force retreated further, clearly familiar with what was coming. Last chance, Saiyan, Frieza offered. Join me, or watch everything burn. Goku assessed the attack with experienced eyes. It was indeed planet-destroying in potential, compressed energy of incredible destructive capacity, designed to penetrate to a world's core before detonating. His expression hardened. No. With a laugh that contained no humor, only malice, Frieza hurled the death ball downward, not at Goku, but at the earth itself, aiming to fulfill his threat immediately. What happened next occurred too quickly for anyone but Goku to fully perceive. The death ball never reached the ground. One moment it was descending with apocalyptic purpose, the next, Goku stood with the massive energy sphere balanced on one palm, held aloft like a beach ball. That was rude, he commented mildly. Frieza's eyes widened in genuine shock. Impossible. With a gentle push, Goku sent the death ball harmlessly upward, accelerating it out of Earth's atmosphere where it detonated in space, a new, brief star in the daytime sky. I think we're done talking, Goku said, his voice taking on an edge it had lacked before. Leave Earth now, Frieza. Don't come back. For a brief moment, uncertainty flickered across the tyrant's face. Then his features twisted with rage. No one dismisses me. No one. He began to transform, his body cracking and reshaping as power surged through him. You have no idea what you're facing, monkey. Goku sighed. He'd hoped to avoid this. I understand you're powerful, Frieza. But this doesn't have to end in violence. Frieza's second form emerged, taller, more monstrous, horns extended to deadly points. His power level increased exponentially, the very air crackling around him. Oh, but it does, he snarled, voice deeper now, more bestial. It ends with your broken body at my feet and this planet reduced to cosmic dust. He attacked with speed that would have been invisible to normal perception, a barrage of strikes that could shatter moons and split continents. Goku blocked each one. Not with effort, not with strain, but with the calm precision of someone swatting away insects. His expression remained composed, almost sad. You're still holding back, Frieza accused, frustrated by his inability to land a single blow. Show me your true power, Saiyan. You don't want that, Goku warned quietly. Frieza responded with another transformation, his third form more alien and grotesque, power doubling again. The plateau beneath them began to crack and fragment from the energy he was releasing. I will not be mocked by a monkey, he roared, unleashing a barrage of energy beams from his fingertips, each capable of piercing planetary crusts. Goku deflected them all with casual sweeps of his hands, the beams redirecting harmlessly into space. From their observation point, Vegeta watched with growing awe and unease. He's toying with Frieza, he murmured. Like a cat with a mouse. No, Gohan corrected gently. He's giving him every chance to stop. That's my grandson's way. Back on the plateau, Frieza had reached his limit, of both patience and restraint. With a scream of rage, he initiated his final transformation. This time, the change was different, power imploding rather than exploding, compressing into a form both smaller and infinitely more deadly. The bioarmor cracked away, revealing a sleeker, almost elegant being beneath, white and purple skin, a smooth skull-like head, a face that might have been called beautiful if not for the malevolence in its eyes. Now you face Lord Frieza at his full power, the tyrant announced, his voice calm once more, but carrying an undertone of madness. The destroyer of worlds. The emperor of the universe. The attack that followed wasn't just physical, it was reality warping. Frieza moved with such speed that he created afterimages, striking from multiple angles simultaneously. The ground disintegrated beneath them. The air itself seemed to burn. For the first time, Goku moved with something approaching effort, not struggling, but at least acknowledging the increased threat. He matched Frieza's speed, meeting him at every point, their exchange creating shock waves that rippled across the desert. Yes. Frieza laughed maniacally. Finally, some resistance. Show me more, monkey. Show me what makes you special. Goku blocked a particularly vicious strike aimed at his heart. This is pointless, Frieza. You can't win. Can't I? Frieza's eyes gleamed with malevolent intelligence. With blinding speed, he disengaged from Goku and fired a death beam, not at his opponent, but toward the distant observers. Directly at Grandpa Gohan. Goku's eyes widened. In that instant, something changed, a shift so fundamental it was almost visible. The careful restraint, the measured responses, the gentle deflections, all vanished. One moment, he was 30 feet from Frieza, the next, he had intercepted the death beam, absorbed its energy completely, and gripped the tyrant's extended finger. That, Goku said, his voice terrifyingly quiet, was a mistake. For the first time in his existence, Lord Frieza, Emperor of the Universe, felt true fear. The power suddenly radiating from the Saiyan wasn't just greater than his own, it was in a different category entirely, like comparing a candle to a supernova. What are you? Frieza whispered. Goku didn't answer. With words. Instead, he simply released his control. Not fully, that might have destroyed the planet, but enough. The effect was instantaneous and devastating. The ground beneath them cratered for miles in every direction. The air superheated to plasma temperatures. Light bent around Goku's form as gravity itself responded to his unleashed power. Frieza was thrown backward by the shockwave, tumbling helplessly through the air before catching himself. His face contorted with disbelief and growing panic. This isn't possible, he screamed. No Saiyan can have this power. No mortal can have this power. Goku floated upward, the golden aura of his energy surrounding him like divine fire. His expression wasn't angry or vengeful, just resolved. Leave, Frieza. Last warning. Instead of heeding the warning, Frieza did what cornered tyrants throughout history have done, he lashed out with everything he had. A barrage of planet-killing attacks erupted from his hands and eyes, enough destructive force to shatter solar systems. Goku didn't dodge. Didn't block. Didn't deflect. He simply let the attacks hit him directly, absorbing their energy, containing their destructive potential, protecting the planet beneath them from harm. When the barrage ended, Frieza hovered, panting, his power reserves depleted. Goku remained unchanged, unmarked, unaffected. I don't understand, Frieza whispered, true fear in his voice for perhaps the first time in his life. What are you? Goku considered the question. I'm just someone who was born with power I never asked for, he answered honestly. The difference between us is how we choose to use it. With that, he raised one hand, palm forward. Not as a threat, but as a final opportunity. Go, Frieza. Leave Earth and never return. Find another path. For a moment, it seemed the tyrant might actually listen, might recognize the gulf between them and choose survival over pride. Then his face twisted with hate. Never. I'd rather die than be shown mercy by a monkey. With his remaining strength, Frieza launched himself at Goku, claws extended for one final, desperate attack. Goku sighed. As you wish. What followed wasn't a battle, it was a lesson. Goku didn't kill Frieza. Didn't maim him. Didn't torture him as the tyrant might have done in reversed positions. Instead, he systematically disabled him, neutralizing each attack, countering each move, demonstrating the absolute futility of Frieza's resistance without causing unnecessary harm. Finally, the Emperor of the Universe lay defeated on the shattered ground, unable to continue, his legendary power reduced to embers. Goku landed beside him. "It's over, Frieza. Your ships will take you from here. Don't return." "Kill me," Frieza hissed, pride still intact despite his broken body. "Finish it, Saiyan. It's what your kind does." "No," Goku replied simply. "That's what you would do. I'm choosing a different path." With a gesture, he signaled to the observing Jinyu force, who approached cautiously, unable to believe what they had witnessed. "Take your lord and leave Earth," Goku instructed them. "Tell others what happened here. Not as a threat, but as a promise, Earth is protected." Captain Jinyu nodded wordlessly, too shocked to argue or posture. His men gathered their fallen master with uncharacteristic gentleness. As they retreated, Frieza's hate-filled eyes remained fixed on Goku. "This isn't over," he promised weakly. "I will return. Stronger. With allies. You've made an enemy today that will haunt you for eternity." Goku didn't respond. There was nothing more to say. As Frieza's ships departed Earth's atmosphere, Vegeta and the others approached cautiously. The prince's expression was unreadable, a mixture of awe, envy, and recalculation. "You should have killed him," Vegeta said when he reached Goku. "Frieza doesn't forgive. Doesn't forget. Killing him wouldn't have solved anything," Goku replied. "It would just continue the cycle." Vegeta shook his head in disbelief. "You really are nothing like us, are you? Despite the Saiyan blood in your veins." "Maybe that's not a bad thing," Gohan suggested, joining them. "Maybe that's exactly why Goku can do what no other Saiyan could." The old master placed a proud hand on his grandson's shoulder. Goku smiled, the awesome power he'd displayed already receding, contained once more behind his gentle demeanor. "What will you do now, Prince Vegeta?" Goku asked. The Saiyan prince stared at the sky where Frieza's ships had vanished. "Reconsider my options, it seems." He turned to Goku with grudging respect. "You've changed everything today, Kakarot. The balance of power throughout the universe has shifted." "I don't care about power balances," Goku replied honestly. "I just want to protect my home." Vegeta laughed humorlessly. "Then you'd better prepare for what's coming. Because after today, Earth will never be ignored again." His eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "Perhaps that's not entirely bad. There are worse allies to have than the Saiyan who defeated Frieza." The implication was clear, Vegeta was offering alliance rather than recruitment now. A significant shift. "We'll help each other if needed," Goku agreed. "But Earth remains independent." Vegeta nodded curtly. "For now." He signaled to Nappa and Raditz. "We'll depart tomorrow. There's a power vacuum forming that won't last long." As the Saiyans moved away to discuss their plans, Bulma approached Goku, her scientific curiosity warring with friendly concern. "So," she said, attempting casualness, "you just defeated the Emperor of the Universe before lunch. How are you feeling?" Goku grinned, the same boyish expression she'd known for years, somehow untouched by the cosmic power he'd just displayed. "Hungry, actually. Is there any food left?" Bulma burst into laughter, the tension of the day finally breaking. "Only you, Goku. Only you." But as they returned to the facility, none of them noticed the small, mechanical probe hovering at the edge of the battlefield, observing, recording, transmitting data to a hidden laboratory where a gray-haired scientist watched with growing fascination. Dr. Gero smiled as readings from Son Goku's battle with Frieza filled his screens. "Extraordinary," he murmured. "Truly extraordinary. The perfect subject for my greatest creation." He turned to the shadowed chambers behind him, where embryonic forms floated in nutrient baths, humanoid, but integrated with mechanical components. His life's work, his vengeance against the Red Ribbon Army's destroyer, taking shape. "Soon," he promised the silent forms. "Soon you'll awaken to a world that needs your correction." 2 years passed in relative peace. Vegeta, true to his word, departed with Nappa and Raditz, though Goku's brother promised to return someday, having found unexpected connection with his long-lost sibling. The prince's prediction proved accurate. Earth was no longer ignored by the wider universe. Occasional visitors arrived, some peaceful, some less so, but none posed threats beyond what Goku could handle with minimal effort. His reputation spread across the stars, the scion who defeated Frieza. The protector of Earth. Some called him a god in mortal form. Others, a cosmic anomaly that threatened the natural order. Goku ignored all such talk, continuing his simple life in the mountains, training not to increase his unfathomable power but to perfect his control over it. Until the day the first android appeared. It happened without warning. Goku was training alone in a remote desert region, practicing energy manipulation techniques Grandpa Gohan had designed specifically for him, ways to channel and disperse power safely. The android approached openly, walking across the sand with measured steps. Humanoid in appearance, male-presenting, with pale artificial skin and cold blue eyes. A small red ribbon army insignia was embossed on its chest, faded but recognizable. Son Goku, it stated, voice perfectly modulated. Target acquired. Goku paused his training, sensing something unusual about the newcomer. Not alive, exactly, but not a simple machine either. Something in between. Hello, he greeted cautiously. Who are you? I am Android 16, the being replied. I have been instructed to test your capabilities. Without further preamble, the android attacked, moving with speed and precision beyond any human fighter. Its fighting style was analytical, adaptive, designed to probe defenses and identify weaknesses. Goku responded defensively, curious rather than threatened. The android was strong, far stronger than any Earth fighter he'd encountered, but nowhere near Frieza's level. What made it interesting was its technique, perfectly executed, constantly evolving based on observed data. You're learning as we fight, Goku noted with interest, blocking a particularly innovative combination. That's impressive. Android 16 didn't respond verbally, but its attacks shifted again, now incorporating elements of Goku's own style, mirroring his movements with mechanical precision. After several minutes of this unusual exchange, Goku decided to end the test. With a quick series of strikes, too fast for the android to analyze and counter, he disabled its motor functions, careful not to cause permanent damage. Android 16 collapsed to its knees, systems attempting to recalibrate. Assessment complete, it stated, voice unchanged despite its compromised state. Data transmitted. To who? Goku asked. Who sent you? Dr. Gero sends his regards, the android replied. This was merely calibration phase 1. Prepare for escalation. Before Goku could question further, Android 16 self-destructed, not as an attack, but as a data protection measure, leaving nothing but scattered components too damaged to analyze. Troubled, Goku collected what remained and brought it to Bulma. If anyone could make sense of this technology, it was her. Fascinating, she murmured, examining the components in her lab. This is decades ahead of anything I've seen. Biometric integration, adaptive learning algorithms, energy absorption systems. Energy absorption? Goku repeated. Bulma nodded, holding up a partially intact mechanism. This appears designed to not just detect energy but absorb and repurpose it. She looked up at Goku, concern evident. Specifically, key energy, the kind you and other martial artists generate. A counter to my abilities, Goku realized. Exactly. And if this was just phase 1 as you said? Bulma trailed off, implications clear. Dr. Gero, Goku mused. The name sounds familiar. It should, Gohan said, joining them in the lab. He was the chief scientist for the Red Ribbon Army years ago. Disappeared after you defeated them at Muscle Tower. Goku remembered now, the military organization that had sought the Dragon Balls, that he dismantled as a child without really understanding the consequences. Revenge, he concluded. He's been building these androids to get back at me for destroying the Red Ribbon Army. Not just revenge, Bulma corrected, still examining the components. Study. These systems weren't designed to defeat you outright, that would be nearly impossible based on what we've seen. They're designed to analyze you, to understand how your power works. To find weaknesses, Gohan added gravely. Goku wasn't particularly concerned for himself, few things in the universe could genuinely threaten him anymore. But he worried about collateral damage, about innocents caught in one man's vendetta. Can you track where the data was transmitted? He asked Bulma. She shook her head. The transmission system was one of the first things to self-destruct. Very thorough design. Then we wait, Goku decided. And prepare. They didn't wait long. Over the next 6 months, more androids appeared, each more sophisticated than the last, each targeting Goku with increasingly adaptive strategies. Android 17 and Android 18 arrived as a pair, seemingly human teenagers with cold efficiency masking surprising depth. They fought Goku to a standstill for nearly an hour before retreating without explanation. Android 19 was more machine than human, designed specifically to absorb and redirect Goku's energy attacks, forcing him to rely solely on physical combat. Android 20 revealed itself to be Dr. Gero himself, his consciousness transferred into a mechanical body after his human form had aged beyond usefulness. He observed rather than fought, analyzing Goku's every move from a distance. Each encounter ended the same way, the androids gathering data before retreating or self-destructing, clearly building towards something larger. He's creating the perfect counter to you, Bulma concluded after analyzing debris from their latest encounter. Each model learns from the last, adapting to your techniques, your power signature. But why? Yamcha asked. He had witnessed several of these confrontations, feeling helpless as the androids grew beyond what any normal fighter could handle. Goku dismantled the Red Ribbon Army years ago. Why wait so long for revenge? Because revenge wasn't the primary goal, Gohan realized, his wise eyes troubled. Goku was just a child then, his power significant but nothing like what it is now. Gero has been waiting, watching, for Goku to reach his full potential. So he can study it, Bulma agreed. Reverse engineer it, perhaps. Or counter it completely, Goku added quietly. The final piece of Dr. Gero's plan revealed itself 3 weeks later, when television broadcasts worldwide were hijacked by a single transmission, the doctor's mechanical face filling screens across the planet. Greetings, people of Earth, Gero began, his voice carrying the dispassionate certainty of a scientist announcing experimental results. For years, you have lived under the protection of one you call Son Goku, a being of extraordinary power who has appointed himself your guardian. Images flashed across the screen, Goku's battles, his feats of strength, moments captured without his knowledge. But power unchecked is power corrupted, Gero continued. Today, I offer the universe a counterbalance. A perfect being designed to match and exceed the anomaly that is Son Goku. The camera pulled back to reveal a large bioengineering chamber behind Gero. Inside floated a humanoid form, tall, green-tinged, vaguely insectoid yet eerily human in its proportions. I present to you, Cell. The culmination of all biological and technological advancement. The perfect weapon against unchecked power. The chamber began to drain, its occupant stirring as fluid receded. In exactly 1 week, Cell will be fully activated. He will then host what I call the Cell Games, a tournament where Son Goku and any other fighters brave enough can test themselves against perfection. Gero's mechanical eyes seemed to stare directly through the screen at Goku, wherever he might be watching. The stakes are simple, if Cell is defeated, I will terminate my research permanently. If Cell wins, he will absorb Son Goku's power, as he was designed to do, creating a controlled entity rather than the unchecked anomaly that currently exists. The transmission ended with coordinates for the tournament site, a newly constructed arena in a remote desert region. Across the world, reactions varied from panic to excitement. Some saw Jiren's challenge as fascinating scientific advancement, others recognized the existential threat it posed. At Capsule Corporation, where Goku and his friends had gathered to watch the broadcast, silence reigned for several moments after the screen went dark. "Well," Bulma finally said, "that was dramatic. He's been planning this for years," Yamcha realized. "Every android, every encounter, just data collection for this Cell creature." Goku remained quiet. Processing. There was something different about this threat, something that resonated with his instincts in a way Frieza and other enemies hadn't. "I need to see it," he decided. "Before the tournament." "Goku, that's exactly what he wants," Bulma protested. "To lure you in." "I know. But I need to understand what we're facing." Gohan studied his grandson with knowing eyes. "You're concerned this isn't just about you anymore, aren't you?" Goku nodded. "Jiren talked about absorbing my power. If this Cell creature can actually do that." He didn't need to finish the thought. If Cell could absorb even a fraction of Goku's extraordinary power, the consequences would be catastrophic. That night, while the others planned and prepared, Goku flew alone to the coordinates Jiren had provided. The arena was already complete, a large square platform surrounded by broadcast equipment, empty bleachers awaiting spectators, all eerily illuminated under floodlights. Dr. Jiren stood at the center, as if expecting him. Beside the scientist hovered the chamber from the broadcast, its occupant still suspended in fluid but visibly more developed, features defined, limbs twitching occasionally as if dreaming. "Son Goku," Jiren greeted without surprise. "Right on schedule." "Dr. Jiren," Goku returned evenly. "Or should I call you Android 20 now?" The scientist smiled thinly. "Either is accurate. My consciousness has transcended biological limitations, but I retain my identity." He gestured to the chamber proudly. "Much like my creation will transcend all current definitions of life." Goku approached cautiously, studying the floating figure. Up close, he could see Cell more clearly, a being composed of familiar elements in unfamiliar configuration. Something about its energy signature felt composite. Layered. "What is it?" Goku asked. "Not just an android. Perceptive," Jiren acknowledged. "Cell is a bio-android, part machine, part organic, containing genetic material from the greatest warriors Earth has ever known." His mechanical eyes gleamed. "Including you, son Goku." That explained the familiar resonance. "How did you get my DNA?" "You've left traces throughout your battles. Blood, sweat, hair, all containing the genetic code I needed." Jiren circled the chamber proudly. "Cell also contains material from that interesting specimen called Piccolo, from your Scion companions, even from Frieza himself, courtesy of battlefield residue after your encounter." The implications were disturbing. "So it has all our abilities?" "And more," Jiren confirmed. "But most importantly, Cell possesses the unique capacity to absorb and integrate energy, specifically, your energy, Goku. The power that has defied my instruments, that exceeds all rational parameters." Goku considered this. "You want to control me through him." "I want to understand you," Jiren corrected. "The anomaly you represent threatens the natural order. Power like yours shouldn't exist in a mortal frame, it defies scientific principles, breaks fundamental laws of physics." For the first time, Goku glimpsed the true motivation behind Jiren's obsession, not just revenge for the Red Ribbon Army, but a scientist's desperate need to categorize, to comprehend, to control that which defied explanation. "I don't fully understand it either," Goku admitted honestly. "I was born this way. Precisely why it must be studied." Jiren's voice rose with genuine passion. "Controlled. Replicated or neutralized. The universe cannot sustain such aberrations without consequence." Inside the chamber, Cell's eyes opened, solid magenta, unerringly aware despite its unfinished state. It studied Goku through the fluid, recognition evident in its gaze. He knows me, Goku realized. Of course. Your cellular memory is part of him. In a very real sense, he is you, the you that should have been. Controlled. Purposeful. Perfect. Goku turned his attention from the chamber back to Jero. This tournament, what are the real rules? Jero smiled, appreciating the direct approach. Simple. You and any allies you choose will face Cell. If you defeat him, I cease my research as promised. If Cell wins, he absorbs your power, not killing you, merely integrating your energy with his controlled systems. And then what? Cell rules the world. The universe. Cell maintains balance, Jero corrected. Ensures that power remains distributed according to natural law, not concentrated in anomalies like yourself. It sounded almost reasonable, if one ignored the megalomania behind it. Goku wasn't fooled. 1 week, he confirmed, turning to leave. We'll be here. One question before you go, Jero called after him. Why come alone? Why not destroy this facility now, while Cell remains incomplete? Goku paused. Because that's not who I am. You'll get your fair fight, Doctor. As he flew away, Goku didn't share his deeper concern, the troubling resonance he'd felt with Cell, the sense that Jero might have created something that could genuinely counter his abilities in ways previous enemies couldn't. The week passed quickly. Preparations were made, strategies discussed. Vegeta, sensing significant power developments on Earth, returned with Raditz and Nappa, their scion pride unable to resist a tournament that promised worthy competition. Even King Piccolo's son, who now called himself simply Piccolo, emerged from his solitary training to offer assistance, though his motivations remained as inscrutable as ever. The morning of the Cell Games dawned clear and bright. Television crews from around the world gathered at a safe distance from the arena, broadcasting to a global audience equal parts terrified and fascinated. When Goku and his allies arrived, Gohan, Vegeta, Raditz, Nappa, Yamcha, Piccolo, and several other Earth fighters who insisted on participating despite the danger, they found Dr. Jero waiting at the arena's edge, a triumphant smile on his mechanical face. Welcome to the Cell Games, he announced. Your opponent awaits. Standing at the center of the platform was Cell, fully formed now, towering and regal, his green carapace gleaming under the morning sun. He looked both insectoid and humanoid, with elements from multiple species integrated into his perfect form. Most disturbing was his face, calm, confident, with intelligence beyond mere programming shining in his magenta eyes. Son Goku, Cell greeted, his voice unexpectedly melodious. At last we meet properly. I've been dreaming of this moment. Goku approached, stepping onto the platform with measured confidence. The others remained at the arena's edge, ready to intervene if needed. You have the advantage, Goku observed. You know all about me, while I'm just meeting you. Cell smiled, a disturbing expression on his inhuman features. True. But what fun would it be without some mystery? Besides. He spread his arms, inviting inspection. I am, in many ways, an open book. Every cell in my being contains information about its donors. I am the sum of all who came before me, including you, Goku. The rules were simple, one-on-one combat, victory by surrender or incapacitation. No outside interference. The fate of Jero's research, and potentially the power balance of the universe, hanging on the outcome. Who wishes to challenge Cell first? Jero called from the sidelines. To everyone's surprise, Goku stepped back. Not me. Not yet. Vegeta immediately moved forward, smirking. Then I claim first blood. Let's see how perfect this creation really is. What followed was both something went wrong with this response, please try again. Go ahead and work on the next chapter. Take the story into its next chapter. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.